up, RotoGrinders? 2 hours of nonstop MLB DFS conversation starts right now, taking you all the way up the lock. It is the People's Show. I feel like it's been too long. The People's Show's been off for at least 1 week. Myself, former $1 million winner Bobby Gomes, former 100,000aire, multiple time over. Do we have an official number on that, Tim? I feel like I once asked you this, and I think you said you lost count, which is a nice humble brag to lose count of the number of times you won 100K in your life. But yeah, no. I saw you shake your head. No, you don't officially know is the answer.
I do not know. I think it's 15.
Oh, that's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's a pretty good number for sure. Bobby, Tim, how are things? 11-game MLB DFS slate. Do you want to say what's up in the chat? Kindly hit that like button. Do subscribe. Turn on those notifications. Got a lot of the usual suspects hanging out with us. I say usual suspects because that might be a precursor to what we're talking about later on in the show. Tim, how's Tuesday working out for you?
Yeah, Tuesday's good. Definitely yesterday for DFS was horrible for me. I played a lot of Tanner Houck, which did not end up very good for me. So hoping
you do those Tanner Houck lineups, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, that was bad.
Yeah. Well, so you're saying you did not win 100K yesterday, is what you're saying?
Definitely not.
Not 100K for Tim. Look, if you're not going to take it down, Ricky Bobby style, right? We might as well finish last, which again is a good precursor. This wasn't even planned, Tim. You know it. Everybody knows it. It's Tuesday, which means it's Tournament Tuesday. We're doing a little bit of a twist. We've done this several times. The people love it. The people demand it. We're playing Lowball. Go ahead and join the free contest. It's a free contest in the Discord, RotoGrinders.com/Discord. Jump into the live stream chat channel. Producer Devin has dropped the contest there for DK. The object of the game, score the fewest points possible. And you were playing Lowball last night, Tim. You didn't even know it. I was playing Min Cash. I think I was in Min Cash life. Nothing exciting, but, we move on. You get yourself the lowest score. Usual rules apply, obviously. Don't get cute. You got to play players that are actually playing. And you have to spend all your salary with the exception of, I think, 1K. I want to say you can leave 1K on the table. If you finish dead last, you don't abide by those rules, you will get passed and not get yourself a week free of RG Premium. Spots are limited, so you want to get in there early. Again, jump in the Discord, RotoGrinders.com/Discord. Live stream chat channel. Get yourself the lowest score on the board. You get a week free of RG Premium, all the bells, all the whistles, the optimizer, the projections, the musings, the expert rankings, too much stuff to mention. Squirrel Patrol's article. How about yourself, Bob? Bob, you won $1 million once, right? You officially know how many times you won $1 million?
Yeah, one time. I've had a couple 100Ks though, I'd say. I don't know about 15, but definitely have a few. Yeah, it's an interesting day. Went on vacation last week, took some time off. This is my first day back, basically grinding MLB DFS. So excited for it.
Welcome.
It's small because it's small, so I'm not going to brag for myself. I finished third in the mini max yesterday, but our head boss producer Devin, he took down a tournament last night. He was up there with me in the mini max, but he also did the 20 entry max for the $4, and I believe he took that one down. And so Devin had a big day last night as well.
Devin's been hot because he finished, I think, second the other day in like the 50 cents or the one. I can't remember which one contest it was, but his ROI was pretty insane. He took down 4 figures. So congrats to Devin. Let me see if I can get that. Did he tweet this out? I missed it, but congrats to Devin.
He sure did.
All right. Well, I guess I've
not. You got to let him know, Dean. You got to let him know.
Yeah. Well, not everybody does it. Like Keith the other day, he banked with some of his closest friends in MMA, but he didn't tweet it out. You don't necessarily have to let him know, but sometimes it's fun. It's fun to let him know. But yeah, shout out to Devin. Said he tied for first and he had third in another. And shout out to TJ as well. All right. So I guess some of the RG people were on top of things. And again, I was min cashing. So that's not terribly exciting. We shall move on. It's an 11-game slate. I do want to go ahead and mention Kevin Roth. Roth will be on in an hour and 10 minutes or so. This stuff can change, but certainly some games to monitor. Super, super chalky Chris Sale. Yellow-orange. We're currently yellow-orange in Atlanta. Again, just keep an eye on that. We'll talk about it as if it's going to go, but that's something we need to monitor. Also, yellow-orange for the Cubs game. Green-yellow, Philadelphia, Minnesota. For our purposes, we don't really care about San Diego, Washington, but if you're playing the 640 stuff, that is currently orange as well. So if you're playing an earlier slate, just kind of keep an eye on that. I'll drop this in chat for the people if you want to go ahead and read that at your own leisure. And this stuff can change, as you guys know. Weather is fluid, and we'll get a better update when Roth officially comes on. 11 gamer, we're back in cores. Big total for Boston. They're facing a lefty again, so a lefty doesn't go particularly deep in games also. So the pinch hit stuff is real. We talked about it yesterday with Westbrook. It's like, yeah, you can't play Westbrook. He's going to get pinch hit for. He did, but he also had a 3-run homer before they give him a hook. Which, by the way, that tells you, like, you go out there and bang a 3-run homer, you're still taking me out. Like that tells you how they feel about him.
He had two at bats. And he was the highest scoring Boston player.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is that I kind of like said, like, there's no way. I can't remember who the lefty was yesterday. Gets to him because he was batting ninth, so he's going to face a righty the third time up, or he's going to be gone. 2 at bats. We could fade 2 at bats from Westbrook, and it didn't work out for your boy, unfortunately. But yeah, are we still waiting for a Boston lineup? I think we are, right? If it's dropped,
I think we are.
Okay. Yeah, we just got Colorado. We just got the Cubs and the Brewers. They're coming in. I'm curious what Boston is going to do today. But yeah, and we have some really good pitchers. I think Sale is the best of the best. Dave's article, he basically said, here's the top 5 guys as far as arms. We can have the conversation, but Sale is the best amongst those 5. I think that's pretty clear as well. We got a 2K player for Atlanta, by the way, just their prospect that's taking the place for Albies, batting second tonight. On DK, he's 2K. That would be Nacho Alvarez. Just kind of keep an eye on that one. I don't think is he not in the lineup page.
So right before I got on the show, he was not in lineup HQ, and now he has been added. I knew they were working on it. He has been added. He's 2K. Good. He's batting second for Atlanta. Yeah, he's in.
We got Jahmai Jones leading off for the Yankees as well in the Subway Series. So, if you want to go double barrel as far as pitchers, there are cheapies that are out there that are lurking. Jones leading off for the Yankees today. Different lineup iteration for them. Bobby, give me your thoughts as far as the slate on the overall. I guess we're going to assume all these games go weather-wise, and we'll adjust, or crunch time will adjust if things change or things get more drastic. But I'm curious how you're seeing the slate. Is it pretty straightforward? I think it's pretty straightforward. You tell me.
Yeah, I think it's pretty straightforward. The sales situation, we're showing him at 46%. To me, I'm trying to come under that. I just think that you have guys like Gilbert, guys like Crochet, Wheeler. I know Gil hasn't been great, but I know the Mets have been better, but maybe it's a spot where Gil starts to turn it around. So I think I think up top, the pitching's okay. I think it's better than okay. So I'd be willing to fade some Sale, not fully fade, but probably be under the field on Sale. And then on the lower end, I kind of think Jose Barrios sticks out a little bit versus Tampa Bay. Jose Soriano in that Gilbert game for the Angels versus Seattle. I think that's Seattle's a team we're just constantly targeting. John Gray at 7K, I like a little bit for savings versus the White Sox. It's the lowly White Sox. I know it's John Gray. People have said he's broken, but he's 7K, right? So I think he's another pitcher that I'd be willing to consider on the slate from an arms perspective.
So the comment from Dave's article about Gray, I want to pull it up. Yeah, so you have to go back 10 starts to find a single game where Gray threw 80 pitches or top 4 strikeouts. I mean, that's pretty rough. The bar is not that high. Throw 80 pitches or top 4 strikeouts. You got to go back 10 games. I understand counter argument, the opponent, right? The opponent, and I totally get that, but I don't know. Where is he going to be ownership-wise? I don't feel great about it. By the way, a lot of extremes as far as umpires. The people have the umpire stuff. We'll go ahead and fire it off for him now. Extreme hitters umpire, just one. Hitters umpire for the Dodgers and the Giants. A lot of rivalries today. Extreme pitchers umpire in Chicago for the Cubs and Milwaukee. Extreme pitchers umpire for the aforementioned John Gray. And he's facing the terrible White Sox. And possibly even more interesting on the other side of that one, and I see J3 in chat is asking about Crochet. TJ saying my favorite. Everybody loves Crochet, and I don't know what to do with Crochet. I think he's a really interesting tournament play, obviously, duh. And the question is, how many pitches are they going to allow him to throw? We know he's on an extreme innings count for the season. We also know he's probably on the trade market. This might be his last game throwing baseballs for Chicago. It might not be. Maybe he just throws a couple more games and they just shut him down. Who knows? But, obviously before the All-Star break, they gave him 2 innings. Just 2 innings, and that's that. He wasn't pitching bad. He was pitching great. Struck out 4 dudes in 2 innings. They said, that's it. You're shut down. I don't know what to do with him. No Seager, by the way, for Texas on the other side. Just a heads up. No left on left Seager. We have a lot of questions here, Tim. I don't know what to do. Excuse Crochet, one of the more interesting pieces for you because for sure not cash, but I think he's very interesting for tournaments. But he also, if he throws like 4 or 5 innings and throws like 65 pitches, I wouldn't be shocked. Probably more than that, but it wouldn't shock me. What is your overall screenshot? And then kind of, if you want to go to Crochet, by all means, I'm curious to get your thoughts.
Yeah, we're just going to start off the Crochet. I'm out on him. It's peak pricing. I think he throws 75, 80 pitches. He's close to 10,000. He's really going to have to absolutely crush to win you a GPP at that price point. I don't think that's going to be the most likely outcome. So for me, if I was making like 20 or more teams, I guess I'd put him in like maybe 1, but really I'd be very, very underweight him. I'm really not interested in kind of like finding that super ceiling game on a very, very, what I think is going to be a pretty low pitch count. And then the obvious.
Don't want to cut you off. Don't want to cut you off, but I did. I'm sorry. And I was curious where the Bat and RG projected as far as the median pitch count. Yep. And the Bat's giving him 80 pitches and RG is giving him 88. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would bet under 88. I don't know if I bet under 80, but I would bet under 88.
Yeah, well, I mean, usually in that situation, I just split the difference and call it 84. That's usually just what I do. I would say if you asked Cardi, if you asked our guys doing projections, I don't think there's a ton of confidence in those numbers. So I really, I'm not going to play that game in single entry. I'm not going to deal with it in 3 max. So I'm out on Crochet. We obviously got to wait on to see what Ross says about the weather in Atlanta. I mean, Chris Sale's the clear and obvious chalk. I think he's pretty good chalk, to be honest. 10-5, I think, is a really fair price point. There's plenty of cheap bats that we can play tonight. So I'm really, I'm pretty high on Sale. Got a lot of interest on Jose Sereno against a high strikeout Seattle team. John Gray is possibly broken, but his price is reflecting that. So I don't necessarily hate John Gray. Nobody's to be playing Zach Wheeler. I don't think so.
He's another guy that I'm assuming he's fine, but he left his last start with a back, right? So
right.
But I assume they wouldn't roll him out there. Philly has dreams of winning the World Series. They care about 2 months from now, not so much today. But I assume I was just throw it out there, like maybe they squeeze him an inning. I don't know. But why would they play him if he's not 100% anyway?
It's true. I think, and then I think what it comes down to is if the weather's okay in Atlanta, do you play Chris Sale and Logan Gilbert in cash, or do you play Chris Sale and Jose Soriano? Right now, I'm going Soriano Sale, but there are enough value bats where you can play Chris Sale and Logan Gilbert. So I don't think it's really that difficult if you want to go the Gilbert route. Luis Heel. I mean, he's so boomer bust. This is not a really good matchup at all, but given his ceiling, and he's only 12% owned, I could see at least matching the field with that, if not going a little bit over the field, just because he does have a ceiling. I know that it's not a good matchup. The Mets are pretty patient, but Heel does have tremendous K upside, so I think that he's completely fine for tournaments. I do want to touch on one thing really quick. The last I looked in HQ, Nacho Alvarez is. You have to go to the hide unprojected, click on that, and then add a manual number to his name if you want him to show up in your projections. That's the only way that you can get to Nacho Alvarez. I'm sure the people behind the scenes are still working on that, but if you can't find Nacho right now, click on the Hide Unprojected button in Lineup HQ, add a number to him, and he will show up because he is definitely a cash game must today. We'll get to hitters, but he's definitely a cash game must.
Interesting. Yeah, like sometimes, like every once in a while, you have that workaround. I would find like somebody else that's like a 2K player at that position, and I would give that person that ownership that I want, for Nacho, and then just swap them out. But I guess that's another route. Your route sounds cleaner the way you're suggesting it. At least yeah. But both routes, your option is better. Is that fair to say, Tim? I think so.
Yeah, I mean both ways are fine, but I just want people to know he is in Lineup HQ, but you have to click the Hide Unprojected button in HQ to find him.
By the way, Gilbert, how about Logan? Oh, we should also mention, you mentioned Soriano a couple times. Seattle, their lineup might come out a little bit later. Do we assume? I know we're projecting Julio Rodriguez to come back tonight. Questionable, right? He's not. He missed yesterday. We're currently projecting, but they also lost Crawford too. Crawford's out. I think he's got a pinky. I want to say is what's going on with him. So we're not projecting him to start. But another cheap bat. If you want to go double barrel. I don't necessarily love the hitter, but Garrett Hampson is leading off for the Royals. So have a team total close to 5. He's another potential pinch hit risk. If when Montgomery comes out of the game, Jordan Montgomery coming back today, just sort of throwing it out there. Like you have a lot of cheap guys at the top of orders with Hampson, with Jones, with Alvarez, Nacho there for Atlanta. Just if you're considering double barrel as an option, it sounds like you're not though, Tim. Like you want a few extra dollars for some bats, and you're talking cash games. If nothing else, you want to spend up on some Red Sox, I assume.
Yeah, but I mean, you definitely could go double barrel and cash. I don't hate that play at all. You can definitely go Sale Gilbert. There's plenty of value. The Red Sox lineup did come out, and it's exactly what we had projected. So no surprises at all.
Devin in chat says, different Devin, not producer Devin. Hampson has some wheels. Is he stealing bases these days? I feel like he's old. Isn't he too old to steal bases now? Or am I wrong in that? How many stolen bases?
Fast.
How many stolen bases does he have this year?
I don't know, but according to MLB The Show, he's still fast, and they're pretty up to date on.
He's got 6.
Yeah, not many.
I mean, if we're calling 6 wheels, I know he doesn't play every single day, but all right, fair enough.
He hasn't had one, I think, since May. Oh no, he had one July 10th, and the last one before that was May 9th. So
he doesn't play very much, but it's also Dean. He's 29.
He's an old 29.
He's not an old 29. He doesn't play very much because all he's good at is being fast.
He also doesn't.
Maybe
he can't steal first base.
Contact.
Is the old adage.
Dean hates old people. Dean hates old people.
No, I wouldn't say I hate old people.
Dean only likes the youth. He only likes the young guy.
Yes. When I'm talking about building a DFS lineup, yeah, I probably want you to be, below the age of 30. Sure, that's just kind of where I'm at. I don't really want to play. The Joey Votto story is cute, but when he comes back, if he comes back in the majors somehow, I do not anticipate playing Joey Votto anytime. What's the update on that, TJ? Are you on top of that as the resident Toronto Blue Jay guy? Is that something that might happen, or I heard he was injured? Is that ever happening, or is it never happening?
He's been working his way back, but I don't really care about the Blue Jays this year. I'm very interested to see what they do at the trade deadline, but you can't have that bad of a start to the season in that division. It just doesn't work. So it's on to next year.
Where do we think Crochet ends up?
I think people are going to be afraid, but he projects pretty well, right? So I don't know is the official answer. If it's only 13%.
I think he means what team at the trade deadline.
Yeah, he means the deadline, Dean.
Yeah. I think the most likely scenario, probably the White Sox. Like that's probably the most likely scenario, I think. But like they probably should move him. Well, I think the other interesting question is we talked about this yesterday. Like if a team trades for them, what do they do with them? They don't just burn them during the regular season, right? Do they ice him for a month? Do they throw him in the bullpen? Like that? How do they unleash him? Because if he throws a X number of innings, he might just combust. So Yeah, but if you trade him, you're not going to just ice him. Then what's the point of trading for him? Do you have a thought
And
on that, Bob? An answer?
the only way they would get rid of him too is for like a big draft pick, big package, I guess. So, it's got to be meaningful for Chicago, right? I mean, they would never trade him for
If they wanted, Baltimore has all the assets imaginable.
Yeah, I feel like it would be an American League East team. Unfortunately, for me, it wouldn't be the Red Sox. He doesn't really fit what they want to do. He's throwing fastballs at an extremely high clip.
That's a good point.
So, yeah, I think Baltimore or the Yankees would be interesting. I don't know.
Well, Skubal is possibly on the block as well, and that's another one who can obviously help you a ton today. And apparently the Detroit, at least the Detroit Twitter, is wants 2 or 3 of the big prospects for Baltimore for Skubal, and I think they only have 1 more year of control. That's the other thing with Crochet is you have several years of control, right, and at a reasonable price. And I keep saying Flaherty is the one that should be the most likely one to move because he's a 1-year guy and he's a very, very easy loaner.
I was listening to their broadcast when I was watching the Blue Jays game, and their announcers were saying it's pretty much a certainty Flaherty will be gone, and Skubal they're not accepting offers on him. Yeah,
the Flaherty that makes a lot of sense. I mean, they would take 3 prospects from Baltimore. I don't think Baltimore is offering that. Everybody is obtainable for the right price, but I wouldn't think they're probably trying to build around Skubal and Riley, right? I think Riley Green. All right. Did you have a thought, Bobby? You were saying it is somewhere in the AL East, right? But not Boston.
Not Boston. Yeah, I could see Baltimore for sure.
Hey, what about Logan Gilbert? Not getting traded, but throwing baseballs tonight against a terrible Angels team. 25% ownership currently. We kind of skipped over him. We mentioned Crochet 13%, Wheeler 16%, Luis Gil at 12%, K upside, but walks a few too many guys. And that New York lineup, the Mets could be pretty patient. Does anybody have a strong Bobby? But Bobby, I didn't ask. Are you running 150? You're running 20? You're running 10? I know typically Tim will run his 1 main lineup or 2 lineups or so. What are you doing today? Have you decided? Have you figured out the plan of attack tonight?
Plan on running 150 in the $4. So we'll see. Currently, I'm going to be overweight on Gilbert, overweight on Soriano, under on Sale. Crochet, you guys kind of maybe think twice a little bit, but I can still get a little bit above on Crochet. Yeah, I think Gilbert's a good play. He's versus the Angels. It's a righty versus the Angels, a matchup we've pretty much attacked all year. I think he's the second best pitcher relative to Sale currently. So, and Sale, the weather for Sale's game's up in the air. So, yeah, I don't know. I think Gilbert's in a very good spot.
Shout out to LMI in chat. Says, I always win when it's Bobby and Tim, #no jinx. Well, good thing for you, LMI. Jinxes aren't real. They're not real. TJ, by the way, says he's got 30% Crochet. So TJ doesn't care about the possible pitch count.
You have to embrace the variance. If he goes for 88 pitches, it's going to be the ceiling there. Is worth it, I would say.
I'm not going to say you can't play him. I just for cash games, it just doesn't seem necessary. There's no reason to do that. And then we might be in scramble mode if something happens to Sale. I want to see if Roth gave that an update if it's possible.
Gilbert would be massive shock if Sale got ruined for weather.
The other part of this is what if Sale just pitches? He comes in under 46%, and you really should have been way over on Sale, correct? That's the other aspect you have to weigh, and it's kind of all news. It's all detrimental in terms of news. We need news that says he's going to pitch, but right now this could all be bringing down his ownership.
So this is what Ross' article says. Storms are most widespread around and just before first pitch, and we could get some clearing. We can get some clearing after that. I think they managed to play ball here, but I won't promise it yet. And I'm not sure what route they may need to take to get there. Late start with a chance of an in-game delay, ? That's not what we want. We don't want that.
Is that a new thing? Did he update it? Is that recent?
That's what he had earlier. That was there about an hour ago or so. And again, he'll be on in 50 minutes or so and give us some more clarity. And if need be,
it was straight yellow. Now it's yellow orange.
Well, I think maybe that was several hours ago. It was yellow orange was an hour or so, give or take. By the way, another note from Dave Potts' article where I gave the bad one for John Gray. the good one for Chris Sale, like he's been good. Spoiler alert. Sale had 7 consecutive starts of 7+ strikeouts and 25+ DK points in 13 of 14 starts. Like we talk about, like everybody's floor is 0. I guess some pitchers' floors are negative, but he's just been awesome. Like it's been a revelation, and what a bummer too for Atlanta, because they went out and they traded for Sale, and you didn't really know what you're going to get. And some people were suggesting he might be Dunzo or just always injured, and everybody else gets injured around him, and he somehow stays healthy and might quite possibly win the Cy Young in the National League with nobody left standing for Atlanta. All right. Anybody else we should mention as far as pitchers that's worth touching on? I'm just trying to see.
Do you have any Colin Ray or Jordan Hicks, Bobby?
I think I have some currently. I think I have some Hicks.
Yeah.
Yep.
I wouldn't mind a little bit of Hicks and large field GVP, like the $4 or $18.
So, do you think I should get some Ray?
No, I don't really like Ray, but I mean, it's just I think it's actually a really bad win for pitching in Wrigley today, so I'd be completely off Ray.
Yeah,
I slid into Ross DMs because I was considering betting that game over, the Milwaukee Cub game over, because Weather Edge is telling me it looks like a pretty good spot for hitting baseballs. 174 game sample, a big sample for sure. 80 degrees, 8 miles per hour to basically dead center, right center. In 174 games, that's a big boy sample. 41% increase in homers, 25% increase in runs. And then I asked Roth, I'm like, well, what's up with this 8.5 total? Like, why is this kind of sort of somewhat of a Wrigley win game? I know 8 miles per hour is not amazing, but of course, win matters more there than anywhere else. And what he told me, I was like, he basically said, like, well, if there's a delay, it's going to be bad. Like, I should actually go ahead and read what he wrote to me. But yeah, wind should be blowing out most of the game, basically, just getting weaker. But if there's a late start, it'll be 5 miles per hour as opposed to the 8, which is, it's a difference for sure. So if you like the over, you're rooting for the game to start on time. But yeah, so it's just sort of weird. I just figured that game total will be higher. But
Bobby,
sure.
do you have any Soriano and Gilbert in the same lineup?
I think that's perfectly fine because people are just afraid to do that. Yep.
Yeah.
I definitely have it.
Yeah. Milwaukee, Chicago, by the way, officially yellow-orange, as Devin is letting us know in chat. I don't think that's changed just yet.
On that Chicago Milwaukee game, do we have a stack percentage for the Brewers? Are they going to be chalky?
I don't think so.
No one ever plays the Brewers, huh?
I mean, you can always get to Adames. It's shortstop. It's just always there's so many options, right? And Adames, one of their better hitters. Yelich always feels a little bit overpriced, right?
Yeah.
And like he's not the kind of guy like amongst the superstars you think can like break a slate. I'm not saying he can't, but he's just like consistently really good, but like not elite. Not nobody's Judge, nobody's Ohtani, but I think that kind of pushes those guys down. It's hard. Contreras is always a little bit too expensive. On FanDuel, he's got a really good price. But I did rank my 5 favorite stacks today, and I think Milwaukee did creep in. I want to say they were 4th or 5th when I did that earlier. I like the Brewers.
Sorry. Yeah, in our team opto percentage tool, Milwaukee is ranked number 5, Bobby. So pretty good. And pretty good positive
relative to ownership. It's pretty good.
Yeah, real good positive leverage.
I like Milwaukee today. I think that's an interesting stack for tournaments.
I think Hoskins did not make the lineup. I know the lineup just came out not too long. Not that Hoskins has been great this year. Kind of disappointing, I guess, right? He's coming back from was it an ACL? I think it was an ACL. Brewers lineup: Terang, Contreras, Yelich, Adames, Frelick, Ortiz, Bowers, Chiriot, and Mitchell. Do hit that like button, subscribe, turn on those notifications. I think Spidey is with us. TJ is lurking. So, yeah, if we get 100 likes, 150 likes, 200 likes for Spidey Bombs, 2 each for each plateau. Of course, Bobby's got his Bobby Bombs. Tim's got his taters as well for the people. So, yeah, you want to keep hitting the like, subscribe so you know when we go live, do all those things. TJ, did you have any official takes? I know you kind of gave some in the chat. You're anything a hot thought when it comes to pitchers? Any like a big stand over or under on one particular player?
Yeah, big time actually. I'm going 0% Logan Gilbert. I'm going 0% Zach Wheeler. I have 15% Sale. I was gonna full fade him, but instead I'm just only playing him in double spend ups because I don't think as many people are gonna do that. So I'm only playing him with Crochet or Heal. I have 35% Crochet, 30% Heal, and then taking shots on a bunch of low-owned cheapies. No John Gray either.
Who's your favorite low-owned cheapie?
I am still playing Soriano, even though he's pretty chalky. My favorite low-owned cheapie would be Jose Barrios, even though he's not super cheap. But I'm also playing 20% Criswell today. The Rockies are my highest owned stack, but I also have 20% Criswell. Getting a little Colin Ray, a little Jameson Taillon, and a little Simeon Woods Richardson.
I'm not sure if this is for cash or not. I see Cam the Man's got a question asking Nacho or Jones. Who's the better punt? Who do you think is the better punt there, Tim, amongst those two? Jones leading off, Nacho batting second for Atlanta. Of course, if the Atlanta game gets washed out, or if it's a weather issue and you're not stacking Atlanta, that's an unnecessary risk. But where are you at as far as Jones versus Nacho?
I'd go Nacho. I think it's a better spot for him. I know Quintana is like kind of a fraud, but he hasn't been horrible. So I prefer going Alvarez. Plus, you save 600.
Yeah. Trying to see if there's anything else we should cover pitcher-wise. I think we mostly discussed it. I was thinking about Martinez might be kind of sort of somewhat interesting because Atlanta's lineup, obviously they lost Albies. Now they lost Riley. Riley's on paternity leave. So that Braves lineup is it is not your friend of 4 months ago's Braves. It's not great. Kelnick, Nacho, Ozuna, Darno's the cleanup hitter. Olsen, who's struggling and now batting fifth. Duvall, who's not been good. Rosario, who they got off the scrap heap. Arcia, Zach Shorts. I saw yesterday they picked up Whit Merrifield. This Atlanta lineup is it's not great. Just Martinez is not good enough. So I was trying to talk myself into it as a cheapie, but I could not get excited there. Anything else of notes here we should mention, Tim, or you want to just give us the old summary? What do you got, TJ?
Carolina guy in the Discord live stream chat, where you can also find the tournament for Tournament Tuesday, Lowball tournament today on DraftKings. You can find that link in Discord. I dropped in YouTube as well. I'll drop it in YouTube again here right away. But Carolina guy there is wondering favorite pitchers for GPPs and single entry on FanDuel specifically.
Specifically on FanDuel, what do you got for the people? GPP for FanDuel. Again, over there, most popular pitcher is going to be Chris Sale, 32% currently. Soriano, the second one, but it's pretty cluttered, about 12, 13%. Gilbert at 11, Wheeler at 10, Gray at 7. You can get Heal and Crochet at like 5 or 4%. Single entry stuff, of course, we know the chalk rises too. So you can get those guys pretty low owned. What do you got, Tim? Your favorite single entry pitcher on FanDuel is who?
I'd go Soriano, and then you could just pay up for so many bats. Obviously you can't go Sale. Soriano's only projected for like 12%, so it's going to be a super Sale chalk, I think, in single entry. Soriano will probably come in a little higher than that in single entry, but he still won't be like super chalky. So I really like Soriano 8.1.
Just got a new batch of ownership about 10 minutes ago or so. I'm just giving it a refresh to try to see if anything changed dramatically. Bobby, you want to give the people a summary as far as the arms? Very clear that whether allowing Sale as the top guy amongst the best arms ownership-wise, 45%. But, of course, there are some interesting pivots in Crochet and Gilbert and Wheeler and Heal. Tell the people what you're currently doing. You can reserve the right to change your mind with new information, Bobby. But where are we at right now?
Yeah, so if we get that Sale is good to go and everything's all clear, I'm going to be jamming Sale. I also think that if that's not the case, I'm probably going to be a little under on Sale. Probably have more Gilbert, more Soriano. Garrett Crochet, I think you have to embrace the variance and larger field stuff. Like, I think he's a good play. We said that Seager was now out of that lineup. I know the bat has him for 80 pitches. RotoGrinders has him for 88 pitches. I like Tim's idea of just splitting the difference, 84 pitches. I liked Crochet a lot going into this slate for tournament, so I'm probably still gonna leave him where he's at. Which is about, if he's at 18% now, I'm 18%. We had him at, I have him at like 24%. So TJ had him at 30. I think that's more of a stand than what I'm currently making. And I actually think TJ might be making the better decision currently. But yeah, I don't know. If we get the main thing for me is if Sale gets a clean weather situation, I'm jamming Sale, and it's going to change a lot of my exposures. I think Soriano becomes my second favorite pitcher, followed by Gilbert, then Crochet. But if we don't get that, I'd be more interested in getting to guys like Gilbert, Crochet, Soriano. I'll mix in some Barrios. Tim had a good point on Jordan Hicks. I think he's good in the low end. I also like yeah, that's pretty much the majority of the pitchers that I have interest in, actually.
So, Bobby, if I can promise you, we split the difference. I can promise you 84 Crochet pitches, no more, no less. Like, I don't have that ability. I can't do this. But
it more depends on the situation with Sale.
Maybe, yeah. There's a domino effect for sure, because that 45%'s got to go somewhere.
Because immediately Gilbert's going to be the chalkiest pitcher in the slate if we get a bad outcome for Sale. And then I don't think Gilbert's, even at 84 pitches for Crochet, like, I'll take his chances at a ceiling game versus Gilbert. Maybe that's a bad take, but I think in tournaments that's a good way to try to get around that Gilbert ownership. He's the best avenue, I would say. Wheeler, I guess you could throw in there too.
Do you have any Bloss or Woods Richardson, Bobby?
Currently I have Woods Richardson, no Bloss. Should I have more Bloss?
No, I mean, I'm not a fan of Bloss. I would do what you're doing and go Woods Richardson.
I don't have a ton of Woods Richardson, very, very small.
And the reason why we're so intrigued by Crochet's upside is that, like, he's got the biggest K rate in the slate, 35.2%, awesome number. 15.7% swinging strike rate, another awesome number. The walk rate, just 5.4%. That is really solid. The Sierra is the lowest in the slate, a 3.02 ERA, and a Sierra it's 2.45. So he's been better than his numbers actually show, and his numbers have been awesome. So, I think you're supposed to get like at least a pinch of Crochet, but it could really end poorly. But we're shooting for the top, right? We're not shooting to min cash. What do you want to add there, Tim, as far as pitching? And we may get like a beat. You never know. Are there still beat writers for the White Sox? Have they given up? Are they still lurking? Are they still around? Well, we may get a heads up. I feel like, remember, didn't we get one before the All-Star break? We got one where somebody said, like, just keep an eye on this. He might get cut short today. And that's, it was 2 innings. It was shorter than anybody expected, I think. Maybe we get something pre-game. Who knows? Just be on the look out there for Twitter. Maybe you get some sort of beat info. What do you have, Tim, to add as far as pitchers? Don Easy asking about Tyler Alexander, by the way, who is the expected long man to come in for Tampa. That does not seem necessary. I don't understand. Yeah, for me, that's a no. Just a quick no. Unless, is he like 4K? Am I not aware he's 4K?
No, he's not. He's 6,400. I would really stay away from that whole situation. I'd rather play Criswell at 58 for Boston.
Yeah,
I'm just saying. Okay,
I agree.
I agree. Over Alexander, definitely.
Or Woods Richardson.
So, no, I'd rather play Woods Richardson over Criswell. Yeah,
and I'd probably rather play Martinez too. I don't want to play.
I don't have any interest in Nick Martinez. He's only projected for like 65 pitches. So even if you think this Atlanta lineup is trash, there's not a lot of ceiling there at all. And he's 6'6", so I have no interest in Martinez.
Eric in the chat says, tell me about Ty Block and how second games in Coors series are typically unders. I've heard the first game's theory, which I don't know if it's true or not. I know people just like to throw it out there. I don't know if anybody's actually worked the numbers, to be honest. I've never heard anybody float out the second game in Coors for unders. I don't know. Show me the math. I don't know. Also, Ty Block is terrible, and he's like been like long man of the bullpen a lot this year. I wouldn't think he would go very long. Yeah, so I'm not really sure. Why did you just talk? You just timed out Broccoli Boy? What happened to him? Broccoli Boy.
I sure did.
What did he say? What did he do?
Yep.
That's your real life friend. Is he trolling?
I know.
Is he trolling us? Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Send him
trolling
an
Bobby.
angry text message. He was trolling Bobby? How dare he?
Tim setting a good precedent. We will be blocking anyone with anything remotely close to politics in the chat. We're not having Kirk D stir us up again like yesterday.
I didn't see what he wrote.
How is he trolling me? What did he say? I don't have it up.
I just saw that he was.
I wouldn't have blocked you, Broccoli Boy.
He likes to troll you sometimes, but I guess we'll have to get this some follow up on this next show. I suppose we'll have a cliffhanger. What's going on with Broccoli Boy? Okay, we're going to talk about stacks in just a second. We're going to do the old stack game, but talked about this on Twitter as well. Some people participated, and I'm curious. I'm sure the chat's going to be fired up for this. I think they are. So today's category for stacks, I had a really hard time with this, by the way. Best, twist movies, movie twist endings, however you want to interpret that. Best and worst twist movies. There's so many to choose from. I was talking with Tim about this earlier today. I was so angry with him that he hasn't seen some of the best ones of all time. And that for some reason, and this is my fault. It's not Tim's fault. It tilts me. Like it doesn't affect me in any way, but it still upsets me. Tim, you're missing out on such goodness. And I'm kind of jealous. You get to watch these movies for the first time if you ever do it. But let's see if the chat is going to go ahead and tell us the best twist ending movies of all time.
Wow, the chat and YouTube is all over this.
Yeah, well, The Sixth Sense, of course, is going to be one of the popular ones. I don't think it made the board.
What? Well, your board is already terrible.
No Sixth Sense, no Shutter Island, just absolutely ridiculous.
That's bad.
Do you guys know how the game is? It's you can only pick 5, and there's more than 5 really good twist ending movies. So by math, the rules of math, something has to be left off. That's just how that works. That's just how this goes.
No Avengers Infinity War. Unbelievable.
I haven't seen that one.
Where was that? How was that a twist ending?
Get
back on here, TJ.
They lost.
TJ, what Bruce Willis was dead the whole time. How about that?
Everyone knew they were going to lose.
That's not true. That's never happened before. Half the world died.
Yeah, because he snapped his fingers. But it was like leading up to, I don't know.
What else can we spoil?
They kind of anticipated that he was eventually going to get the snap off.
The twist was that the movie was so bad. The chat is saying, there you go. But a lot of these were on my list. Mystic River, Sixth Sense was on my list. Jeffrey says The Usual Suspects, that might be on the list. Primal Fear was definitely on the list. Did not make it, Red Scout. Clerks 3, I don't remember Clerks 3 really. Seen all of them, but for some reason just kind of forgot it. But I guess we can go ahead and reveal the board. Nobody said my number 1, by the way. I don't think, unless I missed it in chat. Nobody has said my favorite just yet.
No Empire Strikes Back. Unbelievable.
Oh, come on. Homer Simpson ruined that one for me. I don't know if you remember that old Simpsons clip, but it's not Eyes Wide Shut either. That's a good guess. Yes, The Prestige. If there was we're gonna.
How is that 1? I don't understand how that's 1 for you. I get it, but I don't understand how it's your 1.
Because it's my favorite twist. What is the under? So here's the thing. If you were to put one of 10 movies as your 1, I would not argue with you. They're all in that pool of if you want to put Sixth Sense number 1, I'm not going to say it's egregious. If you want to put Shutter Island up there, I'm not going to yell at you either. But I think it's in that bucket, and I love Christopher Nolan. It is the first movie when you watch it, and even says, I think on the old DVD, if I remember correctly, it said something effective after you finish watching it, you want to immediately watch it again, instantly, oh my God, I got to see how this, and it's just brilliant. All the little subtle, I don't want to give away the spoiler because there's some people who haven't seen it, but Christopher Nolan, one of the best directors of our time, one of his best movies, The Prestige, is absolutely spectacular. So, Bobby, you liked it, just not enough, I guess is the issue. Bobby?
I liked it. I really liked it. I'm not on mute, right? Correct?
I think you were for a
I
second.
liked it. I really liked it. I just thought I don't think it was my one.
Okay.
I would say The Usual Suspects is my one. It would be my one on that list.
I got that 3. I thought The Usual Suspects was very good. Really good movie. Fight Club, spectacular as well. I don't want to give away the spoilers. I almost gave one away, but I don't want to do that. I know there's a statute of limitations, but we also live in a society, and I want some people that they haven't seen it for whatever reason. And Tim, how many of these 5 have you seen? I think you actually seen several.
2.
Of them, right?
I've only seen 2 on your list.
Fight Club, Usual Suspects.
Yeah.
Alabama Jones says "Old Boy" in chat. That is definitely a twist ending. Do not see the remake of Old Boy. See the one that's from Asia. I don't remember.
Is this a TJ version list? Because I kind of like the Now You See Me ending.
So there's not a lot of the problem was there are some bad ones that nobody's seen. Remember Me, On the Line is a terrible. The ending to this Mel Gibson movie that we saw, the ending to it is insane, but nobody saw it. But Now You See Me, enough people saw it where they actually made a sequel, and there's a third one in the works too. It's a fun movie. Don't ask too many questions, but it's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous ending. When you concede it's ridiculous, Bobby?
What the Now You See Me ending?
It's a ridiculous ending. It's completely
ridiculous.
absurd.
I didn't hate the movie for what it's worth.
I didn't hate it either. But the ones that I hated, really, nobody saw. I know a lot of people hated the remake of Planet of the Apes, the Tim Burton one, where they kind of changed the ending of the original.
I was just reading back through the chats. I didn't have YouTube pulled up, and I was looking at Kirkwood's answers for what he thought was had an interesting twist. And
let me guess, Brokeback Mountain is that his go-to?
Yeah, that was the first one I seen.
So Eric is
twist. That was a twist. That was a twist, right?
No, I don't think that. Well, Eric says Field of Dreams, great ending. Great ending, yeah, but it's not a twist ending. Wasn't a twist ending. He's playing a different game. But it's a great movie. It's a great ending for sure. I wanted to put Arlington Road on there, which is a movie nobody's seen, but it's got a great ending as well. But that's what was on my list. The Game. You ever see The Game with Michael Douglas? That's another spectacular twisty movie. Ex Machina, Parasite. My list was too good. Gone Baby Gone. It's just always so. And Saw's on there too. Saw's good. Saw was definitely good. Has a great ending. The budget's a little bit low.
Good, not the other 15, right?
I put the first Saw on there. I didn't put them all on there. Yeah. There's a couple that are okay in the series, but most are bad. You're right.
I agree with The Game. I think The Game's a very, very good one. I know you don't have it up there, but
yeah, it was on my list. That was on my list of options to throw on the board. But again, you only have so many spots.
7 should be on there somewhere. It was on your original list.
It was on my list. 7 spectacular. What is in the box?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Eric's now telling me. Okay, maybe Field of Dreams has got somewhat of a twist, I guess, at the end. That's fair. Maybe I'll rescind my disagreement. All right. TJ's typing in the chat like he can't just jump in and join the conversation.
It's a good jab, I will say. It's a good jab.
I know. I'm thanking him currently.
Yeah.
Either join the conversation or don't, but he's doing it's like a passive aggressive. He's just typing it and throwing it on the screen.
You're the king of passive aggressive, Dean. You're the king of that. So
he's typing it. He's the one that puts it on the screen, but he won't join the conversation. That's amazing. That's brilliant. Well played, TJ.
It.
Okay. Enough of that. Watch it, Dean. There you go. I am. That is in the same font that we get as far as the mute count. Smoking Aces. I have not thought about that movie in forever, but I guess that was kind of a fun movie. Lucky Number 7. Anybody ever see that one? That's kind of a fun one that nobody's seen. There's a whole bunch.
I forget it, so it could.
I saw it 10 years ago and I gave it a rewatch. And I'm like, yeah, this is pretty fun. It's not the best, but it's a fun twist kind of any kind of movie. All right, we got 11 games to get into. Breakdown from a perspective of stacking. Best stacks on the board. You guys know how this goes. We'll start with Bobby. Battle of New York, Subway Series, Mets, Yankees, Luis Heel taking on Quintana. Where do you have the Metropolitans and the Yankees?
So the Mets, I'm going to go Saw. And the Yanks, I'm going to put in. I'm going to go usual suspects for the Yanks.
All right. The cop out, Bobby. The cop out, throwing them right in the middle, right? Do we agree? Do we disagree?
Let me switch that. Let me put the Yanks in Fight Club. I'm sorry.
I'm not trying to bully you into
that's what I was going to put them.
Yeah,
I was going to go.
I just looked at it again. And I was like, I should put them in Fight Club.
TJ,
I think the Yankees are just so cheap. So
yeah.
I kind of like them.
Yeah, the problem is they kind of stink, right?
The bottom half of that lineup is not very good. I understand that, but the top half is really, really solid and pretty inexpensive outside of Judge and Soto, but they're great plays. So Quintana has such a low K rate. I'm really not too worried about the Yankees putting the ball in play. So I really like the Yankees tonight.
1 through 6, I'm genuinely excited to play for the Yankees today. They're my single entry stack.
Yeah.
You know what's not going to excite you, TJ? I'll tell you what's not going to excite you. When it's bases loaded, bottom of the 5th, bottom of the 6th, Quintana is facing JD Davis. They go to the bullpen, they bring in a righty, and Rice comes in for JD Davis. You're going to be so bummed. You're going to hate that so much. That's going to happen. Probably.
Maybe he's the one of the guys in 1 through 6 that I don't have.
One of them say 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, I like 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. Yeah, I mean it's not great, but they are cheap. I do like that argument, and I would agree. I wouldn't move it as far as Yankees out of Fight Club. Tampa taking on Toronto. Jose Barrios taking on Sean Armstrong. The presumption that Alexander is going to follow behind him as a long man. Toronto pretty big favorite here, minus 145. Tim, you're on the board here. TJ being a realist, he's not pulling the old producer Steve and throwing his team right up top automatically, but he is playing the home version, trying to guess where you're going to go. Where do you have the Blue Jays and the Rays?
Yeah, so it's kind of tough to handicap the Blue Jays. I think they're a decent play. They're relatively inexpensive, but it's kind of tough, just like, with it be kind of a bullpen game. So I'm going to go Toronto, I guess, in the usual suspects, and I will go. I mean, I don't really hate Barrios tonight. I don't like Tampa really much at all. So I'm going to put Tampa in Saw.
Just a heads up. Bad news if you like Chris Sale. Roth has upgraded the risk. Orange yellow now in Atlanta. Straight yellow in Chicago. So move down a little bit for the Cubs, Milwaukee, Chicago, but orange yellow for Cincinnati, Atlanta. He says, every day in Atlanta, I say you can't really pinpoint these kinds of pop-up storms. Then every day I try to pinpoint them. Bottom line is that the overall storm coverage here is fairly high. Maybe they get lucky and can get most or even all the game in between storms. But I'll really need to see radar right before first pitch to have an educated guess at that. It is not a safe play. Okay, so there you go. Interesting. The plot thickens. Roth again. We'll be on about 20 minutes or so for crunch time and give possibly some more thoughts on that or elaborate on that. And we'll see if the weather does change. But I did want to update that. Bobby, any issues with Tim's rankings of Toronto and Tampa?
No, we're in agreement. I like Barrios tonight, so I think the Saw is fine for the Rays. In Toronto, I think Vlad is a good play, but I don't know. I just hate Toronto full stacks. They're just a tough team for me to roster, so I think as a 3-man, they're fine.
All right, so we're gonna keep Toronto and Tampa where they're at. Bobby, you're up next. Cincinnati and Atlanta. Chris Sale taking on Martinez, and again, I don't know what I suppose we're supposed to assume this game plays. How do you want to rank them? I don't know what to do with it.
Yeah, Cincinnati. And Now You See Me, Atlanta, and the usual suspects. I don't really love the Atlanta order. Obviously, Sale versus Cincinnati, it's going to pose a lot of difficulty for Cincinnati. So there and Now You See Me. Anyone have like a favorite bat from Atlanta? I just don't really know where to go.
I mean, the super punt Alvarez, I don't know how popular it's going to be, but I would also counter with the way things are right now. It's a fully stack or nothing. Like, it doesn't make any sense to have one-offs for Atlanta.
So you don't like the usual suspects? You'd rather them in like Fight Club?
I think you could stack it, right? And again, I don't know. I'm not going to pretend to know about the weather, but I just think when you're leading with orange, I don't think it makes any sense to have one-off pieces on a game that's leading with orange. That's where I'm at. If you have a thought on that, Tim, what do you got?
I agree with you, Dean. Like, if it's going to be weather, you should full stack it or fade it. I don't really have a favorite bat from Atlanta. Definitely gonna put the Reds in. Now you see me. That's no question. And then I'd probably put the Atlanta in the usual suspects. That top
a lot of
half
agreement.
Is
A lot of agreement today.
I know. That top half is still pretty solid, and Martinez is only projected around 65 pitches. So we're gonna get to see some of Cincinnati's bullpen. So I don't mind Atlanta.
Philly and Minnesota, Wheeler versus Woods Richardson. This is your board, Tim. 8 total. Philly the clear favorite, minus 150. Wheeler, not really someone we actively want to pick on. One of the better pitchers in all of baseball. Of course, Philly's got a pretty strong lineup as well. Where do you have the Phillies and the Twins, Tim?
Minnesota's definitely in Now You See Me. I'm not going to attack Wheeler in any capacity. I wouldn't do it in 150 setting either. So definitely Minnesota down at the bottom for me. This one's kind of tough because I think Simeon Woods Richardson is a decent value in an MME setting, but obviously Philly's got really, really strong hitters in the top half of that lineup. So I'm kind of conflicted. If I was building out 150, I'd get exposure to both of these teams, but I'm going to lean on Philly a little bit more and put them in Fight Club.
Bobby, does the agreeing continue?
I'm just gonna break the agreement and go Philly and the usual suspects.
You think Philly is kind of in the middle? Why do you want to move them down? I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just curious.
Well, because I have a feeling that Philly's probably gonna get more ownership than a team like Milwaukee, and I really like Milwaukee. I'm gonna throw Milwaukee in Fight Club when the time comes. They're like kind of close relative to ownership, I would say.
I kind of like both, to be honest. Let's keep Philly in Fight Club. We're probably gonna have a lot of more teams than usual suspects. But yeah, this is your call here. Milwaukee versus Chicago. Again, Roth did update this one as he downgraded the risk a little bit. He said his best guess is a delay and then a start. So that's kind of where he's at right now. 8.5 is the total. Colin Ray taking on Jamison Taillon. True coin toss here, according to Vegas. Bobby, you kind of already told us where you want to put the Brewers, but confirm it and tell us about the Cubbies as well.
Yeah, Brewers and Fight Club. Cubbies, I think you could put in Fight Club also, but I'm going to throw them in the usual suspects.
Tim?
What were the two teams, Dean? I'm sorry.
No worries. Milwaukee and the Cubs.
Yeah, so Milwaukee took kind of a hit with no Hoskins in the lineup. I was with Bobby, but I'm going to put them down to the usual suspects. And then I'm going to put the Cubs in the Saw.
By the way, Broccoli Boy just popped up in chat. I think he was muted because he agreed with me. He was just saying he was agreeing with the Prestige. And Tim, that's why you blocked him? Unbelievable. How dare you?
That is not why I blocked him.
He's just a liar. Okay, fair enough. I don't know. I can just tell you what I'm seeing, and he's just saying the reason why he was blocked because he was agreeing with me, and you can't stand for that, Tim. You don't like when you don't like when anybody agrees with me. But
I wouldn't block them though. I would think they're pretty dull, but I wouldn't block them.
So Tim, you agreed, Milwaukee. Well, you want to move him down?
No, I wanted to bring Milwaukee down just a little bit, just because I like the Yankees and Phillies more. I think they took a hit with no Hoskins, so I'm going to go Milwaukee in usual suspects. So I'm going to put the Cubs in Saw.
I'm still holding on to maybe there's a chance the weather is really good here, and but Vegas knows, right? 8.5, and Weather Edge keeps telling us it's good, but again, it would get worse, not as good, if according to Roth or as of 2 hours ago or an hour ago, whatever it was, the winds will probably be subdued a little bit more. But I'm going to stick with Bobby here. So let's keep Milwaukee in Fight Club, Chicago in the middle in usual suspects. Bobby, you're up. No, Tim, this is your board. White Sox, Rangers, 7 total, just a 7 total. That White Sox lineup is confirmed horrendous. Garrett Crochet really good at throwing baseballs. How long will he be throwing them for? Not sure. Possibly a while. 7 total. White Sox are dogs here despite having one of the better pitchers in baseball. Where do you have Chicago and Texas, Tim?
Honestly, I put these 2 teams right in Now You See Me. No, I don't love Crochet, but I think he's going to do pretty well. So I have no interest in either of these teams.
Both hanging out with Woody Harrelson from Now You See Me, right? Yeah, it was a star-studded cast. What do you got here? Are they both hanging out there in the basement for you, Bobby, or any you want to pitch them out to like Saul or somewhere?
More agreement. I'm with Tim.
All right. By the way, there was a question in chat. I guess you answered that, Tim, right? Somebody was asking single entry, Arizona or Milwaukee. Looks like, yeah. You have Arizona. Interesting. I'm curious of your thoughts on that. We'll talk about that in a second because I would side with Milwaukee, and I think Bobby would as well. Arizona in Kansas City. Bobby, this is yours. 9.5 total. Alec Marsh taking on Jordan Montgomery. True coin toss again. Both the team total around 4.75. Both minus 110 from a Vegas perspective. Where do you have Garrett Hampson, by the way, is the cheapie leading off. Another guy that could get the hook, potentially, just be aware, but he is super cheap. Witt just keeps smashing. Homer last night with a couple doubles. I don't know. What did he end up with? A lot of extra base hits. I know he homered, and I think he had at least 1 double, possibly 2 doubles. He is spectacular and batting over 500 in the last 80 at-bats or something like that, if you're into such things. Bobby, Royals, D-backs, what do you got?
Well, I like Witt, obviously, for the Royals. I do like Hampson leading off. I'm going to throw the Royals in the usual suspects and Arizona and Fight Club.
Apparently, he got robbed of the cycle, according to chat. Oh, yeah, it was a single shy. Bobby Witt was a single shy of hitting for the old cycle there. But did you see Arizona up top in number 1, or was that TJ just messing around? Did I mishear you?
TJ, that's TJ. Yep, that's TJ.
I'm putting Arizona in Fight Club, and then I'm gonna go Fight Club Arizona. I'm fine with KC and Prestige.
KC and Prestige, really?
Well, where did you put them, Bobby? Because I think
them usual suspect. I love Witt, obviously, but
hold on, TJ, if you don't mind, can you jump on? Did you really like this game? Is that what's happening?
I really like this game, and so my guesses were Prestige, and then I didn't know where to put them down to because I ran upstairs to get my laptop charger and my headphones cut out.
No worries. I thought maybe you just really like this game because you put them both all the way up top, but I'm like,
I do. Arizona and KC are probably number 3 and 4 on the board for me for stacks today, behind Colorado and New York.
So Corbin Carroll, what are we doing with this guy? Because the power is still not happening. Still 6 homers on the year.
It's back. He has 3 homers in his last 5 games or something.
He had the 2-homer game against Toronto. Which, by the way, he's got half his home runs in the last 5 days, which is saying a lot about his entire, shoulder issue. Maybe he's feeling better. I don't know. That could be it, I suppose. He's really cheap on FanDuel. I'll say that. Possibly a cash game play over there, 3-1 or something like that.
Who's 3-1? Who's 3-1?
Corbin Carroll.
Oh, okay.
I think he's 3-1 or 3-2. He's probably somebody you play in your cash lineups over there.
Yeah.
All right. So we're throwing them both in Fight Club. Is that correct, Tim? Is that where we're sticking?
I really want to put KC in Prestige. I think one of these teams absolutely breaks the slate. You know what? Put Arizona in Prestige for me.
Oh.
I want to be on the record, so put them in Prestige.
Should I bet the over in this game? Do we like the over 9.5?
I put him in the top tier this morning too, Tim. When we were on on RotoGrinders today, I'm on the same page as you. I love Arizona.
I really like these. I really like these righties for Arizona, to be honest. So, and then obviously Jock, I think, is a great play.
Is Marsh reverse splitsy? You said you like the righties.
Allowing a 248 ISO to righties this year, a 53% hard contact percentage, pretty bad against righties this year. So higher walk rate also. So I don't know. I kind of like the righties for Arizona tonight.
Okay. Let's move on. Let's talk about the game in cores. Tim, I believe this is your board. About 10 minutes or so, we got crunch time coming in. Again, Roth coming in. I believe it's Roth, Dave Potts, Cheese is Good, as well as who else is coming in? I don't recall who the fifth person is. My apologies. But I know Cheese is back. Somebody who's super, super smart for sure. Might be Keith, but I could be incorrect.
It's Keith. Yeah, it's Keith.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was. Okay. All right. Upgraded. He got the upgrade from yesterday's show. Next game is Cores, 11 total. The only team that has a total above 6. That is Boston. Cooper Criswell taking on Ty Bloch. The lefty. Tricky thing is, Boston might do their pinch hit stuff once Bloch comes out, and he probably doesn't stick around too long. Probably only goes to this lineup 2 times, tops. So, like, in my head, I feel like, especially Devers only sees Bloch twice. And not that he can't get Bloch, but then a slew of righties coming out of that bullpen. You tell me, Tim, where we put Boston and the Rockies. Chris Bryant's back, by the way. Get excited.
Definitely putting Boston all the way up to the top. I'm going to put Colorado in. I think I'm going to put them the usual suspects.
Usual suspects for Colorado and
Yep.
Boston all the way up top. Any issues
Yep.
with that, Bobby?
I'm going to go Colorado and Fight Club. Boston and Prestige. It's fine.
Sell me on the upgrade for Colorado.
They're just in Colorado, and for me, it's like, I don't know, their total moved 4.8 to 5.3. I like the call. Honestly, like, I don't really love Cooper Criswell, so I don't know. Hunter Goodman make this order?
Let's see. I can pull up the order for you right now. I know Bryant's in there.
Yeah,
Just
who'd
had
Brian replace?
Yeah, he didn't make the lineup.
He didn't make the lineup. Rogers batting
Blackman,
third.
Tovar, Rogers, Doyle, Bryant, Diaz, Cave, Togley on the 8 hole, and Aaron Shunk.
All right, side with Tim, because this lineup is not fantastic. The usual suspects for Colorado. We'll agree.
Aaron Shunk is not getting you excited in the 9 hole.
Rogers in the 3 hole is, yeah.
Do you have any Criswell in your GPP pool, Bobby?
I'm about to get some.
Yeah, I was just gonna say this lineup is like so horrible.
Let's see. Criswell's numbers for the year: about a 4 ERA, about a 4 Sierra, about a 4 ERA. More of a ground ball guy than a fly ball guy. 20% Ks. Swinging strikes are really bad at 7.4%. Basically the lowest guy on the slate. What do you got, TJ?
For what it's worth, I didn't win the mini max last night because I didn't have Shunk. That was the reason.
What did Shunk do?
And
I had a Rockies. I had a rock. No. He won the $4.20 entry max.
Oh, okay.
Julio Rodriguez placed on 10-day IL, so he won't be in the lineup today. But I had a Colorado stack, and so did the 2 people who finished ahead of me, and both of them had Shunk, and I did not. He finished with, let me check really quick. Shunk finished with 2 hits and a run. So a double, a single, and a run, but he was 2K flat.
Just want to mention, we know it's Seattle lineup just yet, but it's gonna be they lost JP Crawford, they lost J Rod. Whatever France was, he's gone too. We're projecting Rojas and Robles. Raleigh, we probably get both catchers in there. Jason Fossler is projected to hit, and somebody else that's terrible is going to play also. I know Soriano's pretty popular, but I think it might be justified because this Seattle lineup is going to be probably dreadful with the loss of J-Rod as well. Just kind of noting that. We did not get a new lineup, right? I guess when they put him in the IL, they're probably going to be releasing a new lineup soon, or their lineup. I shouldn't say new because they never had him in to start with, but it's not going to be good. Spoiler alerts. Okay. I think we have 3 more games here. Houston, Oakland, 8.5. This is Bobby's board. Jake Bloss, Osvaldo Beto, Obviously a tough ballpark to put up a bunch of runs, but these pitchers are not pitchers we're afraid of. Houston, I think, was shut out last night, or maybe they scored one. Did have a Houston stack that we closed the laptop on that one pretty quickly. It was ugly. No lineup just yet, but I don't expect anything goofy. Where do you have Oakland and Houston, Bobby?
Houston, I'm going to go Fight Club. The A's, I have zero interest in. I can see the A's and Now You See Me.
Oh, I didn't realize I was still on the screen. Sorry, everybody.
No worries.
So TJ likes the A's is what he's implying?
Yeah, I gave you a big because I love the A's, and then I did, but I genuinely didn't know I was still on the screen.
You have Oakland in dead last, Bobby. You said who are you throwing in Now You See Me?
No, I'll throw them in. I'll throw them in Saw. Throw them in Saw. I don't love Oakland.
I find that they've been useful and they're cheap. They're still pretty cheap. And Bloss is not something I'm afraid of. I wish they were in a better ballpark, obviously. Tim, we got Oakland and Saw and Houston and Fight Club. Agree or disagree?
I'm fine with Oakland and Saw. I just hate this ballpark. And then Houston, I would put. I'm thinking I'm going to be putting Houston in the usual suspects.
I am going to keep them in Fight Club. 2 more games to go on. Hit that like button if you want Spidey Bombs. Where are we at right now, TJ? Do we have officially hit the number for the initial wave of Spidey Bombs, or we're not there just yet? Because we should be. We really should be. Of course, we got Taters coming in, and we also have Bobby's Bombs. But what do you got, TJ? We close to the threshold?
We have enough for the first 2, and we are close to the threshold for the second batch. I've just been adjusting my lineups and doing the board here, so I will have them ready to go for the people right away.
All right. And also another alert, if you guys want to get RG Premium, a free week of RG Premium, not sure if there are still some spots, but there should be some spots. Spots are limited. Jump into Discord, rotogrinders.com/Discord live stream chat channel. There is the Lowball contest posted as a free contest to play. The rules are posted, but just score the fewest amount of points. You score the lowest amount of points while abiding by the rules. Players that are actually playing in your roster and spending all your salary with the exception of $1K. Okay, Soriano versus Logan Gilbert. Tim, 7 total. We don't know what the Mariners lineup is going to be, but it is going to be weakened significantly. The Angels lineup is also going to be terrible because they are the Angels. 2 good pitchers. Well, Gilbert's a good pitcher. Soriano's fine, and the matchup is good, especially from a K perspective. Where do we have the Angels and the Mariners?
Yeah, they're definitely both going Now You See Me. I think that's a pretty easy one.
Bobby?
Well, then Now You See Me. Another agree.
Okay. One more game. Let's talk about San Fran and the Dodgers. Think of the Dodgers lineup: Ohtani, Will Smith, Freeman, Teoscar, Lux, Baez, Hayward, Cavan Biggio is back, Enrique Kike Hernandez. That is your Dodgers lineup. No Giants just yet, unless I missed it. Bobby, this is yours. 9 total. Dodgers have a team total close to 5, facing Jordan Hicks. Where are you putting LA and San Fran?
Put the Giants and Saw. And the Dodgers, I'll go usual suspects for the Dodgers. TJ has them in Fight Club. But...
Tim?
Yeah, I agree with Bobby. I'd go Giants and Saw and Dodgers and usual suspects.
All right, let's give the old summary on the board. Arizona, Boston, all by themselves, hanging out with Christian Bale and Hugh Jackman and the Prestige. Next level is Fight Club. Pardon me. Yankees, Phillies, Brewers, KC, Houston, right there in the middle, hanging out with Kaiser Soze. We got the usual suspects. That's Toronto, Atlanta, Chicago, Colorado, the Dodgers. Saul has the Mets, Tampa, Oakland, and San Fran. And all the way down there at the bottom, Now You See Me, is Cincinnati, Minnesota, the White Sox, Texas, the Angels, Seattle. By the way, you can get yourself a week free of RG Premium, or you can just go ahead and win it. No, not just win it. Purchase it. You can go ahead and purchase it. If you want to commit to 6 months, you're willing to commit for 6 months, you get $250 off the standard price as opposed to going month by month by month by month. You can get $250 if you want to commit for 6 months. Links are in the description here on the old YouTube. 1 month, you want just 1 month, you get $40 off for 1 month. Or you just want to get a little bit of a taste, get yourself 3 days. You can get a 3-day pass for $19 and change. Looking forward to what Roth says later on. He always has a fun thing that is cheaper than something he probably purchased earlier in the day. Do we have officially? I'm looking to see if it's scrolling just yet for TJ as far as the Spidey Bombs. Did they come through, TJ, as far as the Spidey Bombs? Have you officially released them?
Not yet. You guys go first.
All right. TJ's still hard at work making his lineups. Understood. Multitasking over there, which means that, Tim, you are on the clock. You are going to set the bar. What do we have as far as taters today?
I'm going to go Christian Walker, 450 on BetMGM, 425 on DK. And I'm going to go Jock Peterson, 575 on BetMGM, 550 on DK.
By the way, Mariners lineup just dropped. It is Rojas, Robles, Raleigh, Polanco, Raleigh, Locklear, Vossler, Dylan Moore, and Marlowe. Good Lord. That is a bad lineup.
That's a really bad lineup.
It's not good. It's not good. What do you have, Bobby? You fire off some Bobby bombs to the people? What do you got?
I'm going high end on DK, Bobby Witt. Middle, I go Jake Bowers. Low end, who's the pivot off of Nacho there? Jahmai Jones at 2.6.
Yeah.
Take him.
All right. Crunch time is here. They are knocking on the door. They'll be here momentarily. They're going to be here right now. You got Chief Meteorologist Kevin Roth. You have Keith Eyster. You also
I'm ready now. I got my Spidey Bombs now, and I'm ready. I said after you guys.
Oh, okay. I didn't want to force the issue. Go ahead. Fire them off.
No, I appreciate that. I was getting some production stuff handled behind the scenes. But my first one is going to be available for plus 1,100. And it's Anthony Volpe, Spidey Bomb number 1 today. Number 2, you can get him for plus 500. It is Brenton Doyle. As soon as we get up to 150 likes, which we are close to, I'll have 2 more Spidey Bombs ready for the people as well.
That 1,100 number, is that from your bootleg like Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada book, or where are we getting that? Is that anywhere it's 1,100, or is that just because it's a big outlier in Saskatoon for some reason for Volpe?
1,100 on BetMGM plus 950 on DraftKings.
Oh, there you go. That works. Nice. All right. Without further ado, let's go ahead and bring in Roth, Keith Eyster, Dave Potts. It is crunch time. Here we go. Kevin, I'm not sure if you got the heads up or not, but the pressure is on today because you're not going to believe it. It always seems to work out this way. The most popular pitcher on the board, 11-game slate, 22 dudes are throwing baseballs. You're not going to believe it. Most popular guy, 45% currently on DK, Chris Sale, throwing baseballs, allegedly, in Atlanta. How do you feel about that?
No, I hate it. No. Gotta hate it. Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah. Do you want to
full rainbow, the entire every single expert tag on Chris Sale just for you?
God, I hate that. Okay.
No
Good
pressure.
Stuff. Thanks for that.
At least you dressed up for the occasion, though.
Yeah. Well,
That's a great shirt. That's a great shirt, Kevin.
Thank you. Yeah. If I'm gonna get buried tonight and be wrong, I might as well dress for the occasion. No, it's date night with the missus right after this, but I guess I'll just be monitoring what's happening in Atlanta all night long. It seems.
You guys going to Whataburger after this?
Yeah, a little Five Guys, a little Whataburger. Just hit up the classics.
Twisters? Are we going to see Twisters? Do we get to sneak out and see a movie?
I already did. Come on, I saw that like opening night, Dean.
And
was it good? How was it?
You haven't talked about it yet, have you?
It was. When we saw Top Gun and we had high expectations, and then it delivered, and everyone was so excited. I was hoping that would happen with Twisters, and it was just like, meh. It was fine.
Oh.
It was.
That's the first somewhat negative review I've heard.
It was fine. There was nothing surprising or special. It was just a movie. It was okay. I don't know. I was disappointed.
I thought it would be I guess that's why we haven't heard you talk about it. You probably didn't want to put it out there that you weren't thrilled about it.
Your boy Glenn Powell is awesome. He did great. He kind of made the movie.
He's a star. He's absolutely going to be. How many movie stars can you name that are under the age of 40? I don't know, whatever number you want to pick. There's like so few. But if there was a stock, if I can buy stock in somebody, I'm buying some Glenn Powell stock.
He was good
for sure. All right, Roth. By the way, speaking of movies, did you guys have any thoughts as far as favorite twist endings? That was our board. You couldn't piece it together.
Oh, can you pop it back up?
Let's see if producer TJ can go ahead and make it work. I'm sure Dave's got a thought on it as well, but like twist.
No,
we can't do it.
He's deleted it.
Yes, I X'd out the tab. I X'd out the tab.
It was a good list.
There were no Marvel
and he-
movies, so TJ wasn't interested.
I said there should have been Shutter Island and The Sixth Sense for best movie twists ever.
I like Seven. That's a great. I don't know how Seven doesn't make that list.
You could
Well,
just
I
do a
know
whole,
because
like,
you can only list 5. That's
Yeah.
how, because math exists.
And it's
You
your
just
do
went
all
five.
M.
Yeah,
Night Shyamalan.
yeah.
Every M. Night Shyamalan movie.
Not Lady in the Water. Not that one.
I didn't see that.
Nobody saw that one. That was a stone disaster. All right, we got to step aside and get out of here and make way. Get some more thoughts from Roth when it comes to the weather. No pressure once again. And we'll get some baseball thoughts from two of the best minds in Keith and Dave Potts. But myself and Bobby Gomes and Tasteful Tides Tim, we've spent an hour and 15, 20 minutes with y'all. That's more than plenty. Do hit that like button, do subscribe, do turn those notifications, do all those things. Help us keep the lights on. Roth, go ahead and take it away.
Okay. Welcome to it, ladies and gents. You know the drill. It's crunch time. Two of the sharpest minds in the biz hanging out with us. We got Dave Potts. Cheese is good. The man so nice he won the Millie twice. What up, Cheese?
Oh, not too much. Yeah. Happy Tuesday. Good slate, bunch of everything. We got pitchers, hitters, weather. All of us are needed.
Great. Well, hopefully there's so many good pitchers that we don't need to play the one dude in the scary game.
That would be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah. We will see. We got my guy Keith Eyster, aka the Iceman in the house. What's up, Ice?
Doing well. Definitely a crazy slate. Still a little bit undecided on which direction I'm going. So we very excited to hear what you have to say about Atlanta. But there are a lot of options, but he's clearly the best. So we're waiting on you, Kevin.
Okay. Well, then I'll just say it. I'll just come out and say it. I'll just say it. I don't think you play him.
Oh man.
Yeah. Sorry. It just seems real risky. They're going to late start, right? So that's maybe the good news is that I don't think there's a huge risk of starting and then getting an in-game delay. It's just, are they going to play this game? And I legitimately do not know the answer. And if you're putting 40% or 50% of your exposure on a game that legitimately might not play, I think that's insane. If you want to throw in 10% in tournaments, or I don't know, maybe up to 20%, okay. That's your own risk tolerance, but I don't like it. I wouldn't play it.
I like it. I think that is fantastic. Like, yeah, we just want your thoughts. We don't expect to be guaranteed. I want to know your thought. That will move my needle a little bit. I'd already backed way off a sale. I will back off another, cut them in half again.
So that's where I'm at. If you love it and you're like, oh great, maybe he'll come in at lower ownership and now I'm all aboard. Okay, you do you. I'm not going to tell you can't do it. It's not like a screaming absolutely no, but it just seems too risky for me. So I would be out on that one personally. I would also be out on hitters in that game personally. And then there's the Chicago game, which I think is likely to be a late start and play. And there's also a low chance of a delay in New York. I don't think it's a high enough chance of a delay that you should fade it or avoid pitchers there or anything like that. That's pretty much where I'm at. All Rod says, hey, quick thoughts on Washington. They're starting dry. In the mid to later innings, they're going to see light rain. I'm increasingly convinced they will play through at least most of that light rain. And I think they get the game in or get in 7+ innings of that game. More likely, though, they get the whole game in. So that's where I'm at in the main weather concerns. Again, I'm not your dad. Do what you want. I'm not telling you have to fade the game, but I don't love it. It just seems quite risky. Yeah. So that's where I'm at. I will update you guys if I see a trend in the next 20 minutes that changes things. I'm going to be watching it all the way up until lock. And quite honestly, I'm going to be sneaking away during date night to look at Raider on my phone. So I will keep you guys updated, but that's where I'm at. And I think we should dive into the rest of the content because I know we've got a huge slate. We've got a lot going on. So Cheese, why don't you give me a breakdown of what we're seeing here pitcher wise, including Sale, but understanding that there's some big risk there.
Yeah. I mean, on the list of people I listen to, it's Roth and then my dad. So it doesn't even change anything.
That's fair.
So I'm just kind of sitting here thinking about it as you're talking. Like, I still think Sale is probably the chalk, like the highest owned pitcher. I think it definitely gets cut way down. It's not like he's going to be 60% owned. but I think he's still probably the highest owned pitcher, which makes me even more happy to fade him. I think I will probably end up with about 20% sale. I started with 60, went down to about 40. I think I'll cut some more out after this, which leaves us then with probably a lot of people playing Logan Gilbert that weren't before. Like, he was moderately popular before. I think he's kind of the clear. Anyone who's kind of in a hurry, which is really a lot of people, are just going to global swap sale to Gilbert because that's easy to do. And Gilbert is the guy that I'm most certain is like fine. Like, he should be fine. It's unlikely that he's amazing and like you have to have him to win. And it's really unlikely that you lose because of having him. Whereas the next three aces all have question marks. Like, and I wish I knew more of what to tell you with Garrett Crochet, Zach Wheeler, and Luis Heel. My lean is that we probably get 5 innings and 80-ish pitches from Crochet. Like 80-ish pitches to 85. It could be 6 innings from Crochet because he's amazing. Like, we don't know what they're doing with him. And I think definitely his ceiling is capped. But so is Gilbert's, really, just because of who he is. Zach Wheeler also maybe a little bit capped because he had the back injury. He's missed a start. Like, it's been a while. I don't think we get the 115 pitch Zach Wheeler either. And it's not a great matchup for him. And then Luis Heel is kind of all over the place in a tough matchup. So where I'm ending up, and this is like completely opposite of where I started the day. I'm just playing Jose Soriano as my highest owned pitcher by a lot. I don't think he's good. But Seattle is so bad. They are the worst offense in the league. I will take the White Sox over them straight up. It's not even that close, honestly. I think they're just the worst. And he can throw the ball and gets ground balls, and that's all I need. I'm playing Soriano as my SP1, like my highest owned guy, both sites. I also have just a goofy, silly percentage of Cooper Criswell in cores, because he's cheap and he's facing the Rockies. Have you ever heard of the Rockies? They're better than the Mariners, but that's about it. Maybe better than the White Sox. And like these expensive guys just all have question marks, except for Gilbert. But he's $10,000 or 10.8 on FanDuel. So that's where I'm at. I started the day thinking I'm playing 2 expensive pitchers everywhere.
Yeah.
And now I'm down to mostly Soriano. Like, in cash, I would play Gilbert and Soriano.
That's what I was going to ask, and that's what I was kind of.
I think that's almost a no-brainer, honestly. Yeah. Gilbert, Soriano. Yeah. But yeah, I have a lot of Criswell. I would not argue with you if you played some other random cheap guys. I'm not doing the John Gray thing. If you wanted to, I think it's fine. Like Simeon Woods Richardson, maybe Jake Bloss, maybe. If you wanted to play like a little Alec Marsh or Jordan Hicks or any of these guys in the 8K range, Landon Knack, it's fine. But I'm just playing Soriano. And then my other pitcher on DK is either going up or just down to Criswell. And that's it. I have a very condensed pitcher pool.
Okay, great. Ice, your thoughts here pitching wise? Do you have a condensed pool, or it seems like you could have a lot of dudes?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of options. I'm a little bit more spread out than Cheese probably, but not by a lot. I agree. The top end of the range is extremely risky now. Part of the reason I wanted to be able to play Sale is because I just don't know what to do with Garrett Crochet. If we knew he was a full go, and that's kind of the whispers I'm hearing, where last night I was talking about it with Stevie on the morning grind and was pretty concerned that he was going to be limited today. It kind of seems like the sentiment is he's a full go, and this is like a showcase for the trade deadline. And in that case, he would be fantastic. But I'm still a little bit concerned about the pitch count. I like what Cheese said, that I think he's probably ends up around 5 innings. So it's not going to be the 2-inning start that we saw the last time out, but it's not going to necessarily be full go Garrett Crochet either. And in that case, it's a cap ceiling. It's not the greatest matchup. That wouldn't bother me if he had 95 pitches to work with, but I don't think that he's at that level. I think he's going to be more in that 80, 85 range. So I don't really want to take a big stand overweight on Crochet. I'll have him in a couple of lineups just in case he strikes out 9 guys in 5 innings, which he's certainly very capable of. But I don't want to take a big stand on him. My biggest stand in the top range is Luis Heel. He's had 2 really good starts in a row. Last one was against Baltimore right before the All-Star break, which is a very tough matchup. So he's succeeded in tough matchups here recently. He has a very strong strikeout rate. I don't love the matchup against the Mets. The Mets are getting a big ballpark upgrade going into Yankee Stadium as opposed to Citi Field. So there's plenty of risk with Heel. I like his upside better than Logan Gilbert, who I agree would be the cash pitcher and is safer than Heel. But I'm just targeting the upside there. And too much unknown for me to take a big stance on Wheeler as well. Like Cheese, I feel the best about Jose Soriano just because of the price and the matchup. Seattle has been an offense we've targeted all season long because of their strikeouts. And now they're without Julio Rodriguez and JP Crawford, just a really watered down lineup for Seattle. Soriano is not the most comfortable pitcher. He has big time stuff, but the strikeout rate is only 20%. But because of the matchup and the price tag, I think he's totally fine today. I am doing the John Gray thing. I don't feel great about it, but it is the White Sox, and that's the reason that I'm taking some shots. He has not been good. His pitch count has kind of lived in that like 75 range over the last few starts. Made an appearance out of the bullpen in there as well. So I don't know what the ceiling is, but he is cheap enough where in this matchup against the White Sox, I think he can do well enough as an SP2 with alongside somebody with a higher ceiling like Soriano or Heel. So I'll be slightly over the field on John Gray. I don't feel as good about Criswell as Cheese does. I actually prefer Simeon Woods Richardson in the very cheap range. I don't feel great about that by any means either because he's facing an elite Philly offense. And he's also been extremely lucky this season. But just if I'm messing around with the cheap stuff, it's Woods Richardson over Criswell for me.
Okay. Quick conversation about the differences on FanDuel. And I think one of the key differences, and correct me if I'm wrong, if a game gets postponed on FanDuel, they move the start time of that game essentially back to the end, and they allow you to pivot. Is that correct, Ice? Cheese?
I know
that is
done that. Yeah, go
that
ahead.
Is
Cheese.
not a rule. That is sometimes it has happened. You cannot count on that happening.
Okay. I was going to say if we could count on that, then you could play sale on FanDuel and then pivot as necessary. But if you can't,
and for that, even for that to happen, even if they did it, it would have to be postponed before the game starts. They couldn't late start it and then do that after start time, which is only 20 minutes after lock. So if we get a late start, that's off the table anyway. But I think don't assume that's a thing because that is probably not a thing.
Okay. All right. Well, then never mind that brilliant thought that I had. Let's talk about FanDuel. You only get one pitcher there. We don't really like any of them. Do we prefer Soriano and cash over there, or the price is different? Ice?
I don't know about cash. I think Gilbert for cash, even though he's significantly more expensive, he feels safer than Soriano. You could do Soriano in cash just because of the lineup that the Mariners rolled out. Personally, I'd want a little bit more safety, and I don't need as much ceiling in cash, so I'd probably lean Gilbert as my cash pitcher in FanDuel, but Soriano is certainly playable.
Cheese, any thoughts there?
I'd probably have Soriano, but it's either Gilbert or Soriano, just depending on what you want to do with the bats.
Okay, fair enough. Let's flip it. Let's talk about the bats. Let's talk about the stacks. Ice, you can go first. And I guess since there's very different ranges, you're playing Cheese, you're playing a 5K dude. Ice, you're playing some of a 6K dude and another cheapie. I suppose depending on what you do at pitcher can really change what your stacks look like. But what do you like, Ice?
Yeah, there's quite a bit to like, honestly. We have the Red Sox and Coors again, so they're clearly the top offense. The Royals are my next favorite. They're facing Jordan Montgomery, who is making his first start off the IL, and he was absolutely horrendous this season leading up to that IL stint. So I really like the Royals today. The Blue Jays get kind of a bullpen game against the Rays. They announced the opener, which kind of downgraded them a little bit. Tyler Alexander is the guy I expected to follow and be the bulk pitcher there. Either way, I still like the Blue Jays a good amount. The Yankees against Jose Quintana, certainly very favorable matchup there. The Rockies on the other side of the Coors game against Criswell are certainly in play. I like the Diamondbacks a good amount against a low strikeout pitcher in Alec Marsh. I'm going to keep playing the A's. They've been ridiculously good over the last 30 days. I'm not terribly afraid of a guy who's made 2 career major league starts and hasn't looked that great in them. So decent amount of the A's, even though it's a tough ballpark there. And then the Wrigley game is interesting. A little bit of wind blowing out there. Decent pitchers, I would say, but not overpowering pitchers by any means. So I like the Cubs and the Brewers both.
Okay. Cheese, your thoughts stack-wise?
Pretty much the same list of teams. It's a very weird slate in that what I would say the 3 top teams are Red Sox, Royals, Yankees. And yet all of these lineups are basically a couple of really great, very expensive plays, and then kind of a bunch of weird, cheap goo that is like with pinch hit risk all over them. And it's like, it's very strange. And it doesn't actually feel good when you start stacking those teams. Like it feels great to play Witt and Perez and Devers and O'Neill and Judge and Soto. But everything else in these teams is just filled with pinch hit risk and just mediocre players. So I'm not actually over the field on full stacks of any of those 3 teams, even though I would say that's probably who scores the most runs, I guess. But for DFS purposes, I don't just love them.
Are you kind of picking and choosing more than you normally would because aren't full strong stacks?
Yeah, a little bit. The teams that I am a little bit more on the side of full stacking, Keith also mentioned them. It would be Arizona. I think their lineup is a little deeper than those other teams. It lacks the firepower up top, but I like them, and the Cubs as well. Also still playing some Oakland. There was somebody else. Well, I said this in the musings, and I'll say it here as well. I'm not recommending to you to play the White Sox. I'm telling you that I'm playing the White Sox. So there you go.
Okay, that's fair. Brian with an important question. Cheese, how much on average does a player who qualifies as goo, as you described them, what would you expect score per game for
6.2? They will get 6.2 on average. And when it's fine,
Yeah.
but like you're not going to win a tournament with a bunch of 6.2.
Yeah.
But it's not 0 either.
Okay. Another follow-up question. Cheese, big fan here. Was wondering if and when we will see you in the Power Slap competition. I would like to bet the house on you.
I mean, that does, like, I'm so fascinated by the fact that that exists. And
It's incredible.
I want to get involved. I don't know if I want to really be a participant, but I want to, maybe I can be the guy who gets them started, or just, is there a flag waiver of some sort? I feel
There's a
like
ref. You could be the ref.
Can I be a guy? Can I wave a flag?
Sure.
Does that seem like a thing that's needed in there? I'd like to be involved. Someone's
got to like hype the guys up who are, about to.
Oh yeah, I'll walk them in with some music. They probably have that like boxing. Yeah. I've never seen it start. But that seems
I
like
assume I've never seen it start. I've just seen the highlights of people like losing all their brain cells. It's horrible. Okay, hey, let's go around the horn. Let's talk position by position. Good stuff here. Cheese, what are we doing at catcher?
Yeah, catcher. It's really good. Sal Perez is one of my favorite plays on the slate at any position. I think Connor Wong is your chalk. He would be probably the cash game play, or someone in Red Sox stacks. But I love Perez, and I love spending up to Will Smith. I don't love the Dodgers full stack, but I love Will Smith and Ohtani. And then if you want to go cheap, which I do kind of want to go cheap, I'm playing this Carlos Narvaez for the Yankees, straight up minimum salary. So there you go. That's about it.
Okay. Ice, your thoughts at catcher?
I also love Sal Perez. Really like this spot for him against the lefty. Connor Wong in Coors, certainly great. Elias Diaz in play in Coors. Gainer Diaz is good in an Astros stack. Shea Langoliers, Bangoliers, one of my favorite plays.
Bonjolier.
Or Langelier. Freddie Fermin, if you don't want to play Sal or don't have the money to get up to Perez, Fermin is in the Royals lineup as well. He's been very good against lefties this season. So I do like Fermin a good amount also.
Okay. How about first base, Ice?
Shohei is great as usual. Vladimir Guerrero has first base eligibility now, which is he had third for a little bit now. Now he's had both for some time as well. But Vlad is one of my favorite plays on the slate. Freeman, if you don't quite have the money for Ohtani, is fine. Harper in that same range as well is really good. I really like Christian Walker as well for the Diamondbacks. A little bit cheaper. I really like Michael Busch today. This has been good for the Cubs. And Vinny Pasquantino for the Royals.
Vinny Linguini, just
that
Makes it easier.
is
It's a tough
easier.
That's
Yeah.
why we say Vinny P.
Yeah, Vinny P, Vinny Linguini. If you can just do this if you want, that qualifies. Then we all know who you're talking about. Where are we at? Cheese, first base.
First base, yeah. And by the way, nothing to do with anything, but me and Mrs. Cheese did watch My Cousin Vinny over the All-Star break.
Still delightful. Still so good.
Still, it holds up for sure.
Yeah. Very good.
Yeah, basically the same list here. I love first base, and it's a place I do want to spend up. Really, Michael Busch is kind of the only cheapish guy that I really like. Certainly on DK, Ohtani, Harper, Freeman, and Christian Walker are probably my three favorites in that sort of 5K range. Yeah, that's it. I don't want to talk about cheap stuff because we can play that somewhere else.
Okay. Second base, Cheese.
Speaking of, we can play cheap stuff somewhere else. There's a bunch of cheap second basemen, and this is kind of the weakest group of spend ups. Like Marte and Altuve are fine, but like compared to the other positions, it's just kind of blah. It's goo is what it is. And then the mid tier is fine. Like Brandon Lau is fine, Torres is fine, Schneider is fine. But I really think on DK specifically, you just punt. You could do Jamie Westbrook in cores. You can do Leo Jimenez for 22. You can do Brooks Baldwin for 2K. He's my favorite. Just go all the way down. And then we got Johnny Jones leading off for the Yankees. All those guys are 3K and below on DraftKings, and the position's not strong. So that's kind of the whole story for me. Outside of the occasional full stack, I'm just punting it.
Great. Ice, your thoughts a second.
Yeah, I also like saving some money here. I agree. The full punts are totally fine with guys like Brooks Baldwin. The 3K range is actually pretty strong as well on DK. That is DK pricing. Gleyber Torres hasn't been great this season, but good spot for the Yankees today. Really like Davis Schneider, who should get a couple of bats against the lefty bulk reliever here. Nico Horner is 4,100 if you have a little more like him in that Wrigley game. If I was going up a little higher, Brandon Lau is in play. I'm not playing any raised stacks against Berrios, but I do like Lau hitting from the left side against Berrios.
Okay.
Yeah, and let me sense. I didn't even mention Nacho Alvarez, who's batting second for the Braves. Like, there's so many second basemen, but he's playing for the Braves, and you're saying if we don't need to play a Braves bat, let's not. And so, like, he's in that mix too. But I'm playing Baldwin ahead of him.
Okay. Dean, by the way, dropping a Utes reference because of My Cousin Vinny, and the chat is just so confused. The chat, what is a Ute?
Yeah, I wonder if people have even seen that movie anymore. I guess probably not. But
so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna ask the young one amongst us right here, hanging out with us. Ice, do you know what we're talking about? Have you seen My Cousin Vinny?
I have, but it's been like 20 years. So
okay. All right, we'll allow it.
So Baldwin and Alvarez, the two Utes. I prefer Baldwin among them. Yeah,
fair enough. Ice, I think we're at third base now.
Yes, at third. Devers is one of the best plays on the slate. Lefty does not matter. We don't expect Ty Block to stick around very long anyway. He should get a couple of at-bats against this horrible Rockies bullpen. So love Devers and Coors. Guerrero has third base eligibility as well. Mentioned him at first. Bregman is fine. Chris Morel is fine. Matt Chapman, I like a decent amount. JD Davis to save a little bit of money in the Yankees lineup is good. Let's see. Aaron Schunk is a player that's playing third base for the Rockies today. So he's in Coors Field and really cheap. If I was punting, I would be looking there.
How do you spell that last name?
Schunk. Schunk.
Yep. I love it. All right. I want that guy to go yard. I want him to be great. I want to say that name very often. Cheese, what are we doing at third? You got any Schunk?
I don't. But this connects to third, but also kind of looping back to second. I didn't mention Michael Busch on FanDuel qualifies at second, so he's a little more useful there. He's also third, but he's first, second, and third on FanDuel. Okay. Third base wise, like Devers is kind of an unnecessary spend. I mean, I have a couple Red Sox stacks for sure, but he's not my favorite of the 6K players or the 4K on DraftKings on FanDuel. I'd rather spend at first or the outfield. So I'm playing mostly Vlad, Chapman, or a little bit of Alec Bohm at third, or going a little cheaper. I do like Suarez. I like JD Davis. If you are playing bats for Atlanta, I actually prefer Alvarez at third over second because he didn't just punt both those positions. and spend up somewhere else. That's kind of about it.
Okay. How about shortstop?
It's crazy to me that Bobby Witt isn't like 40% owned every day. Like last night, the dude was like 10% owned. It wasn't even close. Like no one was near him on the whole slate at any position. Like I get that he's expensive, but like you guys all just keep not playing him and I'll just keep taking free money. It's really bizarre. He's so much better than everybody.
I referred to him yesterday when I said he was my favorite tournament play as Cheese's favorite tournament play every day.
Yeah, and it's like because like he's going to be what 10% owned again. It's goofy. Like it's so dumb. These people are not even trying. If you don't have 6,400 on DK or 45 on FanDuel, play a little like Willie Adames. Swanson is cheap on FanDuel. Rafaela is fine. Lindor, I think, is fine. Even fewer people will play like Trey Turner or Ellie De La Cruz, but honestly, just play Bobby Witt. And I'm going to say that, and you're not going to do it. So there you go.
That's fair. It sounds like a great tournament play. All right, Ice, your thoughts at short?
I'm going to play
Cheese.
I'm going to play some Bobby Witt for sure.
There you go.
Dude is incredible. Just an insane run he's been on. I won't play him at 100%, so I will sprinkle in a little bit of guys like Rafaela for the Red Sox who's in Coors. Willie Adames is fine in that Wrigley game. Swanson on the other side of that, I like his price. Volpe in a Yankee stack. Romy Gonzalez is in Coors as well. But yeah, it's Bobby Witt. Just play Bobby Witt.
Okay, take me to the outfield.
All right, Ohtani, mentioned him at first. Always one of the top plays on the slate. Ditto Aaron Judge. Tyler O'Neill is in Coors Field. Great spot for him here against the lefty to start it off. Jarren Duran will have a little muted ownership because of that lefty-lefty matchup, but he should get plenty of it at-bats against the bullpen, enough to do some damage, even despite the top price tag. Corbin Carroll is starting to pick it up a little bit. He's leading off today for the Diamondbacks, so really like him today. Brenton Doyle in Coors is fine. George Springer for the Blue Jays, I like a good amount. Let's see here. Lawrence Butler for the A's is a little bit cheaper guy that I like a good amount. Ian Happ for the Cubs. Seiya Suzuki for the Cubs. Kyle Schwarber is certainly fine. Let's see if there's anybody else I want to highlight here. I think that does it for me.
Okay, the Braves game is officially delayed. Doesn't change a whole lot. Like, it was either going to be delayed or postponed at this point. They've gone with the delay. I don't think that it changes the fact that it could still be postponed, right? I didn't necessarily think they were going to come out and postpone it right now, though I hope they would. Just doesn't change a whole lot. I still think it's risky. I still think it's risky. That's all there is to it. Even if they have
now, can you say that it makes it, if they decide to play, is this better for the pitcher?
So there's two routes they can go that I'm looking at. There will be some clearing right around when the game is scheduled to start. Of course, they'll start to pull tarp and warm up and do all that. And they could, I don't know if they're going to try to play then, because there's another batch of rain rolling in. And if that batch is heavy enough, that's a problem. Or they could just play it then and try to play through that rain. I just don't know.
But there is still a chance they could start and then delay again.
Yes.
In addition to the chance of postponing.
If they try to play immediately, yes. If they try to play immediately, that could happen. I just don't know, and that seems risky to me.
Okay.
That's all. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still going to cut my sale in half again when we're done here.
Yeah. Okay. Cheese, your thoughts in the outfield?
Yeah, I mean, Keith named most of the plays that I like. Like, I love the high end here. This is why I'm punting second and even punting some third, so I can get like two expensive outfielders. I like Ohtani and Judge the best, with probably Schwarber third. I mean, of course, the Red Sox guys, sure. Alvarez, sure. It's all fine, but I got to rank them somehow. So I'm going Ohtani, Judge, Schwarber. Mid-tier wise, I'm going same names Keith mentioned. I think, I don't know, did you mention Jorge Soler or not?
I don't think I did.
But like Soler right in there with Happ, Springer, Suzuki, Jock Peterson as well. That kind of 4K range on DK and kind of low to mid threes on FanDuel. I'm playing Lewis Robert because that's what I'm doing. He plays for the White Sox. So you don't have to play him. Just letting you know what I'm doing over here. There is cheap stuff. It's fine. Like Pete Crow Armstrong, Seth Brown. I think you can play Victor Robles even in a Jose Soriano lineup because he's just going to infield single and steal 2 bases, and then he doesn't even score, but Soriano wins and he wins. Yeah, that's all I want to mention. There's always tons of names, of course.
Okay. And just getting that delay notification in. I get new forecast models that essentially come in around the top of the hour here. So they're just starting to trickle in. So before we bounce, I will give you an update on what the latest high-res forecast models are showing. Though, to be fair, at this point, it's almost better to just look at radar. But we'll go ahead and give them a peek. We want some home run calls. At least the people do. And Cheese, you love giving the bomb calls. We're assuming Witt.
Do I? Yeah, we'll go with Bobby Witt. Yeah. But really, the beauty of Bobby Witt is he doesn't have to hit home runs. Like he might hit 2 home runs. He might steal 3 bases. He might just score 4 runs with 3 RBIs. Like he does it every way. So I do like him for a home run, but he doesn't have to hit home run to be a great play. Let's go with Lewis Robert as well. And then how about what's a little sneakier there? Yeah. I don't feel like going sneaky. Jock Peterson. Not sneaky, but no one's really playing him, so I'll count it as sneaky.
Sneaky enough. Ice, you got a few bomb calls for me?
Yeah, I will go Salvador Perez, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., and Michael Busch.
Very nice.
Well, while you say that, it reminded me, I just wanted to point out, like, it's awesome that the guy's name is Nacho Alvarez. Even better that it's Nacho Alvarez Jr.
Yeah.
That makes me so happy.
Just
wanted to point that out.
It's not like the dad was like, I can't believe that I had this name of Nacho Alvarez. And he was like, no.
I mean, I can see how, like, if you're a confident person, like, yes, like, just go for it. And be like, yeah, I want my kid
embrace
to have
the
this life
nacho.
too.
Bring in another nacho to the world. Hey, we should make sure everybody's signing up for RotoGrinders Premium. If you're not, what are you doing? Like with your life? Seriously, what are you doing? You can get yourself a 6-month combo subscription, exclusive price, $469.99. That is a savings of $250 as opposed to buying 6 individual months of combo premium. You can also get your first month of RG Premium $40 off for a limited time. That's happening right now. You can do it. Or the best deal in the industry, a 3-day pass is $19.99. I went and got a couple banh mi's for lunch. If you don't know what a banh mi is, you should. They're delicious. That was more expensive than 3 days of amazing RG Premium. So your choice, 2 banh mi's or 3 days of RG Premium. Sorry for my screaming toddlers outside. Let's do some QQs. Let's see what we got. Pulling up the RG Discord because that's where the cool kids are. TJ says, hey, Roth, long-time listener, first-time caller. This is our TJ. Long-time listener, first-time caller. I'd love it if y'all could answer my QQ. DKGPP. Good Lord, save me. Just two young daughters. It's not going to get easier. Cheese, Langoliers, Butler, and Justin Turner, or Fermin, Bush, and Happ.
Yeah, I can see why you're torn on that. I would lean Fermin, Bush, and Happ.
Very good. Okay. Ice coming to you from Gray Bill. He says, DKGPP, Gray Duran, or Wheeler Ref Schneider.
Little bit of pinch hit risk for Ref Schneider, but I think I still lean the second one there.
Okay. FanDuel cash question. Ice, right back to you. Freeman, Walker, or Vladdy Daddy?
I like them all today. I think Vladdy's my favorite.
C. Denny says his father, Nacho's father, was Nacho Grande. That's good.
Well
That's
done.
good, sir. Yeah, well done. You win. JT Money was kind of asking about the FanDuel swap situation, saying, can I play all these Atlanta things since I could swap if it's postponed before 10/10? We don't know that to be the case, Cheese, right?
I mean, maybe someone knows more than I do. As far as I know, if it's not postponed before lock, you're not going to be able to do that. I mean, if someone knows different than that, feel free to correct me. But I believe it has to be postponed before the game was supposed to start. So if they just late start, that is not going to be a thing, as far as I know.
Yeah. Okay. Love this question. FanDuel single entry from Jay. Give me the stack to take it all down tonight. You both get to answer this one. Cheese, you can go first.
Let's go with Arizona.
Okay. Ice, your thoughts? Your stack to win it all? Is it Arizona?
How about the other side of that game? I'll go Royals. I think there's enough cheap stuff outside of the elite Sal Perez and Bobby Witt that they get it done as a stack.
Okay. A few people are in agreement saying Cheese is right. It has to be postponed before lock. That I don't know. I don't know. Because that's the rule anywhere, right? Same with DraftKings. If it's postponed before lock, then you can pivot, obviously.
No, before the game, before that individual game.
Sure.
So after the slate starts, but before that game starts.
But that's the same as on DraftKings. But FanDuel has more flexible rules. They have, in the past, even after first pitch, essentially hacked it and said that first pitch is now at 11 p.m. That way you can trade guys out of it. They changed the start time of the game.
They have done that, but I don't think that's a rule.
Yeah.
I don't think. I think that's
I'm not saying it is.
thing that happened. But again, I don't actually know. I've never read their rules for that. So someone could probably do that at this point.
Yeah. A few people saying you can pivot on FanDuel. You can swap, but the game needs to be canceled before the last game starts, definitely. Otherwise, you've got nowhere to swap to. But again, I can't promise they do that. But it does make me lean a little bit more aggressive into the Braves on FanDuel because you could have that option. If the game does not start at 7:05 but gets postponed, then FanDuel allows you to swap. This is a new rule. So, the game locks at 7:20 for what it's worth. We're about 5 minutes from our lock here on the slate. So let's see what else we've got. Ice, any thought given to Coors game last night having lots of relief pitchers used? The bullpens could be used heavily again. Is there an advantage to be had there, Ice?
I mean, you're targeting the bullpens anyway. The starters are not going long, but I do think it's worth noting it went extra innings, and that's a fair point. But we're targeting for bad bullpens anyway in that game.
Yeah. All right, TJ.
Normal editing. If a contest offers late swap, players in your lineup can be edited until the scheduled start time. In this case, if a game is postponed and no stats have been recorded, players can be edited and swapped with players in a game that has not yet started. Normal editing rules apply.
All right.
I'm not sure that really
start. Yeah, I think that clear. So if they late start but never start the game and then postpone it at like 8:00, you could still swap to Logan Gilbert.
You can play that game on FanDuel until the first pitch is pitched. So if it never gets played, even if it switches to a delay, it'll still remain unlocked unless they start it.
Right. So that can allow you to be more aggressive on FanDuel, assuming that this is what happens. But yes, that is my interpretation of the rule. That's how I understand it. Again, whether or not that's a hard and fast rule every single time, I'm not 1,000% sure on that, but that would allow you to be more aggressive on FanDuel, and you could pivot away some of that risky exposure on DraftKings over to FanDuel to kind of keep your exposure equal, and then you have an out over there where you do not have.
It's quite helpful on FanDuel that the person you would swap to, Logan Gilbert, is the second to last game of the night, so it does give you some time there.
Yeah, so I do think that is a viable approach in the situation where we just straight up don't know if this game in Atlanta is going to play. So something to consider. Got about 5 minutes here until we hit lock. Let's see what else we've got. Razzle Dazzles, one of my favorite people here, says, Cheese, Colorado or Oakland stack in a DKGPP. Who do you prefer?
Oakland.
David says, hey, are we worried about Chicago versus Milwaukee? Mildly, yes. I think the game is going to play, so I don't think you should fade it, but it is after Atlanta the next the only other game truly that could run into problems. So there's that. Apparently Skeens, he's only got 1K through 2 innings. It's okay. He's got time. Is a full Red Sox stack and a mini White Sox stack with Soriano and Bloss different and good enough to win a large field tournament? Cheese, is a full Red Sox and a mini White Sox stack with Soriano and Bloss different and good enough to win a large field tournament?
I think it's definitely different enough. Playing Bloss and White Sox makes it different. To me, if you're trying to win a large field tournament, I don't know. I'm not playing Boston. I mean, I have them in my MME mix, but like if I'm entering like 5 lineups in like the big, huge contest to try to win first, I wouldn't have a Boston stack as one of them.
Yeah. Okay. Cheese, I'm coming right back to you because you liked Arizona, right? So Jay Sam says FanDuel single entry. Cheese, since we really want to start right-handed bats for Arizona, would you mind getting different playing Gurriel Jr. instead of someone like Corbin in an Arizona stack?
Yeah, Carroll is my 7th highest owned Arizona bat, which means he's not in my first few Arizona stacks. So correct. I like playing Gurriel over him.
Nice. Okay. First batch of rain will soon clear Atlanta. It does look like there's another one back behind it. We'll see how well it holds together. And there's a flash flood warning that has been issued in Atlanta for the heavy rain that's been going over the ballpark up until this point. Is Crochet on a pitch count? We talked about this, and I think the answer is we're not 100% sure, Ice.
We think so, but we do not know.
Yeah. Okay. What else do we have here? Ice Flying Armbar says Jake Cave or Chris Bryant as a cheap punt on FanDuel.
Bryant's first game off the IL, so no idea what he looks like. Cave isn't a great option either. I guess I'll go Cave there, but I don't feel great about either.
Okay. Ice, Jeff is making you work. He's in the FanDuel at 2,900. Did I say in the FanDuel? I meant in the util. He's in the FanDuel at 2,900.
Util 2,900. FanDuel. Let's see here. Michael Busch or Jock Peterson, both fantastic.
Okay. I believe Peterson was that Cheese's home run call? Was that one of your home run calls? So
Yep.
Feel like it makes that easy. We'll get to that question after lock here. Less than a minute. It's a lock. Make sure you get your lineups in. Eric Johnson says thoughts on Andujar homing tonight. Cheese, any Andujar?
No, I mean it's always possible, but like out of Oakland bats, he is the lowest barrel rate, lowest ISO, and highest ground ball rate of any Oakland bat. So like he would be kind of last on my list of Oakland bats. They could all homer. But
all those reasons are precisely why Eric Johnson likes them, is because all those numbers are bad and it's an A. That means Eric Johnson thinks they're going to homer tonight.
There you go. That makes sense. Yeah, he does that. Cheese, question from Rachel. There's a strategy question, which is good timing as we were coming up on lock. In general, when you stack 4 players, what is the maximized 4 in terms of batting order that you'd gravitate towards?
So I will answer that by saying some people might give you a number like I want 1, 2, 3, 4, or 3, 4, 5, 6. I do not care at all where in the order they're batting. I want the 4 best hitters that I can get for my salary. I don't care if they're 3, 5, 7, and 9 or 1, 3, 5, and 6. I really don't. Like I want the best hitters I can get because you really want, if they bat around enough times, everyone's getting there at bats. And I want the guys who are going to hit the home runs and steal the bases. So I don't honestly look at it from that angle at all. Just get the best ones you can.
Okay. Very good. We've hit the lock. A couple people are asking for Ice's prop calls or home run calls. You got a favorite prop today? Have you been able to look at that, Ice?
I haven't looked at many props here today. I'm seeing if I can pull something up here real quick. Give me just a second.
Sure. In the meantime, Cheese, your favorite 2 pitchers for DK Cash was Soriano. Was that the guy's name?
Yep.
And then you said
Logan Gilbert.
Gilbert, that was it. Thank you.
My site's not cooperating for me. I apologize. I don't have any props here today. The home runs were Sal Perez, Vladimir Guerrero, and Michael Busch.
What is your site? Keith.com?
Yeah.
Yes.
My site. Yes.
I was trying to
down.
trying to go to scores and odds real quick, but I got a timeout. Looks like we might be back up here just a second.
Okay. Cheese, Perez, or Wong on FanDuel?
I like Perez.
And Cheese, any outfielders 3K or under on FanDuel?
I mean, there's a lot. Off the top of my head, Jock Peterson and Gurriel. I like Arizona. I think Arozarena is fine. Yeah, those are the ones that jump to mind. There's plenty.
Okay. Ice. And got any props, any bets that you like from scores and odds?
Let's go Jose Soriano over 5.5 strikeouts. Looks like it's -120 on DK is the best number right now.
Very nice. Okay. I am going to, before we leave, I'm going to look at the very latest high-res forecast data. Should be coming in. Yeah, the bulk of the rain is going to be south of Atlanta, and it's mostly light stuff. Once this, they just have to be patient enough to let this batch clear through, and I'm not fully certain they're going to be. Let me look at radar, one more loop. I still just don't know. It's just, I would lean that they play, but it's a very thin lean, and I certainly don't think it's safe. So that's where I'm at. Chicago, that line should still push through, and they should be able to play. Okay, with that, I think we're going to bounce on out of here. So for Cheese, for Ice, for our wonderful production crew, always working hard behind the scenes and sometimes on cam, TJ, thank you. Guys, we appreciate you. We love you. We will catch you tomorrow, and I will be posting updates all night long on date night. You have been crunched.